Oh, it's me. It's been a long time. How have you been? I've been really busy being dead. You know, after I stopped releasing videos for an eternity. Okay, look, we've both said a lot of things that I'm going to regret, but I think we can put my negligence behind us. For XP, you monster. Before we get into things, I'll explain what the game mode is for anyone new and go over some rule set changes for everyone else. The game mode is one chunk at a time Ironman. We start restricted to one map tile, a 64 by 64 square area as shown here, and under certain conditions we consider the chunk complete. Now, here's where I'm retconning the last two episodes, at least in semantics. I'm not going to say that we're completing all content. The content that's required to complete a chunk is outlined in the rules. I'd like to clarify that this isn't really anything new, I'm just being more accurate in describing what we're doing. While describing the game mode as completing all content in a chunk is catchy, it's also disingenuous, which rightfully led to a lot of confusion in the last couple of videos. The most important required content includes quests, best in slot drops, and skilling challenges. If you want to know what a skilling challenge is, I introduced a system of definition in the last episode that will be necessary to be aware of so that you understand the changes we'll be making this episode, but basically you can think of it as a unique skilling achievement diary for each and every chunk you have unlocked. Once you complete the requirements for a chunk, you randomly roll an adjacent chunk and add it to your unlocked area. For example, our starting chunk includes a yew tree, so we had to get 60 wood cutting, fletching, and fire making in order to complete the chunk. By the end of last episode, we had completed Lumbridge Castle and the forest chunk to the west, and the next chunk we unlocked was the East Swamp, which primarily boasts a mine of copper and tin and some net fishing spots. At first glance, this chunk seems incredibly easy. Just mine a piece of copper, a piece of tin, and fish an anchovy and you're done. Right? Wrong. Unlocking this chunk means that we have to get 30 smithing in order to progress. Why? Well, I'll tell you why in this
educational video segment.
In the last video, we talked about active and passive skilling to define what skilling challenges are required, but we never talked about when they are required. Initially, it seems obvious, just do them when you can, and that's what I thought too, but it actually ends up being a little bit more complicated than that. In order to properly and pragmatically parse this predicament, I'd like to talk about a new system I've developed of primary, secondary, and tertiary resources. A primary resource is a resource that is always obtained from an action. For example, every time you mine a tin rock, you receive a tin ore. Every time you chop an oak tree, you receive an oak log, and every time you kill a blue dragon, you receive a blue dragon hide. These are primary methods of obtaining items, and the resources you obtain this way are considered primary resources. As an extension of this, if an action consumes primary resources in order to output a resource, the resource output is also a primary resource. For example, if you have primary copper and primary tin and you smelt them into a bronze bar, you have a primary method of obtaining bronze bars, and by extension, bronze bars are a primary resource for your account. A secondary resource is a resource that is either received from an action based on random chance, such as a monster drop or a ham member pickpocket, or is received from an action locked behind a set timer, such as runes from the magic tutor or papayas from a papaya tree. Really, if you think about it, RNG and time gating are the same thing conceptually. The only difference is that the time between receiving the desired outcome under RNG varies, while time gating is consistent. The important element here is the waiting over which the player has no control. Just like primary resource processing, secondary resources also have a transitive nature to them, so the iron received from pickpocketing ham members can be smelted into iron bars, and the secondary property persists through processing. The final classification of resource is that of tertiary resources. The defining factor of this type of resource is that the resource is obtained from an array of different actions and as an addition to whatever action is being performed, rather than being the focus of the action that bequeaths it unto the player. This includes, but is not necessarily limited to, birds' nests from trees, gems obtained from ore, random event rewards, and items received from the rare drop table. What sets this class of resources apart from the other two is the passive nature of collecting them. Essentially, they're all resources that you'll gain over time from doing other things, and the game is designed in such a way that the player isn't really incentivized or expected to grind these items out intentionally. This system of definition isn't just limited to resources though, you can also have primary, secondary, and tertiary training methods. These are essentially the same classifications as the resources, but instead of receiving a resource from an action, you receive XP. For a couple of examples, mining tin is a primary training method since it's an action with a guaranteed mining XP drop, raking a patch of weeds is a secondary training method since the farming XP is time-gated, and using XP lamps is tertiary because gaining XP lamps happens randomly, can coincide with any action, and essentially happens on its own over time. You said a bunch of jargon and used the word bequeathed improperly, but that doesn't mean I have any idea what you're talking about. That's a very astute observation, valued viewer. The reason none of this means anything yet is because I haven't actually answered the first question. When are we required to complete a skilling challenge? In order to answer this, we actually have to answer two sub-questions. When is a skilling challenge initiated, and when is it required to complete? Let's start with the first question. When is a skilling challenge initiated? By this I mean, how do you know that a skilling challenge is there in the first place? What needs to happen to put it on your radar? What even is a skilling challenge? Well, let's look back at our spreadsheet of examples from the last episode with the few changes I made since that episode was released. This is not an exhaustive list, but I can use these to help derive what a skilling challenge actually is when separated from any in-game flavor or lore. After looking over this list of what I brainstormed as active skilling challenges, I realized that I could actually divide these into two subcategories that would help me in understanding the objective mechanics behind them. First, highlighted in green, we'll have what I'll call environmental tasks. These are actions that grant XP, are specific to an entity in the game world, and do not consume items to perform the action. When I say an entity in the game world, I basically mean an object that you can click on, like a tree or a rock or an enemy, or really anything that you can interact with outside of your inventory. The second category, highlighted in blue, are what I've decided to call processing tasks. These are actions that grant XP, but in contrast to environmental tasks, they consume resources in order to undertake the action and are not necessarily tied to a game world entity. Most of these tasks are about turning one item into a different item, like turning ore into bars for example, but some, such as burning a log, simply consume an item and give you XP. I'm sure everyone has noticed the one thing that I didn't highlight yet, which is cook to complete food with highest tier ingredients. I actually messed up with this one. I'll come back to this later in the video, but for right now, all you need to know is that during the recording of this video, this was the definition I was using, but now, while I'm editing and creating the video, I realized I made a mistake, and I'll talk about that as soon as it's relevant. Once again, you've made things even more needlessly convoluted with rules and definitions and classifications out of nowhere, and you haven't even answered the goddamn question yet! Alright, you're correct, this is taking a while, so I'll get to the point. With environmental tasks, it's pretty obvious when you initiate them. Whenever there's an entity in an unlocked chunk that gives XP without consuming an item and has a level requirement, bam, that's a task. Simple. If I unlock a new chunk with a magic tree in it, I gotta chop it. Pretty obvious. But with processing tasks, it's a little different. The whole reason I created this distinction was because of these processing tasks and the fact that their internal logic is a little more complicated. This is because these tasks aren't necessarily tied to a specific chunk, they rely on items that can be carried to any chunk, so when you initiate one of these tasks is a little more nuanced. In order to keep things chunk specific, the way that I'm going to go about processing tasks is that only one level of processing is required. This was sort of established last episode with the explanation for fletching, smithing, and crafting, but it felt relatively arbitrary without a systemic reason for it. By defining this new subcategory of tasks, what exactly is required is a little bit clearer now. If a resource is obtained through processing, it is no longer chunk specific and is therefore not something that initiates skilling challenges. One final thing is that only primary and secondary resources can start a processing task, not tertiary. This is because tertiary resources are not chunk specific, so locking a chunk behind processing an item that isn't specific to that chunk doesn't really make any sense. So, a processing task is initiated when there is a primary or secondary resource in an unlocked chunk that is not a result of previous processing that can be processed, grants XP, and has a level requirement. Now for the second part of the question. When is it required to complete a skilling challenge? The obvious answer is as soon as you can, but this brings forward some questionable situations. For example, if I were to unlock Draenor Village right now, completing the rooftop agility course would be a skilling challenge, and completing that as soon as I can is a very vague requirement. In my mind, that would mean waiting until I got enough random event XP to get 10 agility, so I would functionally be stuck there until then, at the mercy of pure RNG. This is why I created the concept of primary, secondary, and tertiary training earlier. The rule for when you are required to complete a skilling challenge is as soon as you have a primary training method for it. If you don't have a primary training method for a skill, the skilling challenges are put on hold until you unlock one, and as soon as you do, you have to go back and complete the old tasks. You might be wondering how this has anything to do with the whole 30 smithing is required thing. To be entirely honest, I kinda forgot that's how I opened this segment about halfway through writing it, so let's just use it as an example to illustrate the flow of skilling challenges. So far, I've completed 2 chunks, and I rolled to unlock the 3rd. What new things does this chunk give? Well, it means we now have a primary method of training for mining and fishing. For fishing, getting an anchovy is the highest thing that we can achieve, so it's not really a big deal. But mining is a little bit more interesting for one main reason. In our starting chunk, there's a furnace. So not only do we have a primary method of training mining, but we also have a primary method of training smithing by mining copper and tin from our newly unlocked mine and smelting them at the lumberage furnace. But wait just a second there, it's just bronze, which takes level 1 smithing. Why does that matter at all? Well, to answer your question, we have to delve deep into the seedy underground of lumberage society. That's right, I'm talking about the genocidal terrorist group known as HAM. If you remember from the last episode, thieving from HAM members was a skilling challenge that we had to undertake, and HAM members give a lot of different things when pickpocketed. All of these resources are classified as secondary resources due to the RNG element in obtaining them. The most important things to look at on this table are iron and coal. That's right, our account has access to a secondary source of iron and a secondary source of coal, and, as you may recall, secondary resources are able to initiate skilling challenges. What do iron and coal smelt into? Steel. So, we've had the secondary resources to make steel for a while now, but only by unlocking the East Lumberage Swamp did we unlock a primary method of training smithing. Because of that, smelting a steel bar is a skilling challenge that we are required to complete. And that's it. Just over 10 minutes to explain all this pedantic nonsense. Just to make sure we've got it all, here's a quick summary. You can have primary, secondary, and tertiary resources and training methods. Primary is when the action is a 100% chance, secondary is RNG or time-gated, tertiary is when it's not from a specific action. Skilling challenges can be defined by either primary or secondary actions, but are only required once you have a primary training method. Only one level of processing is required for skilling challenges. And that's everything. For now. Hello everyone. It's been a while, hasn't it? The last time we saw each other was at the release of episode 2, and at that point, I was just beginning the smithing grind up to 30 through solely bronze bars. I calculated out that it would take approximately 2,000 bronze bars, and the day immediately after the release of the second episode, I live streamed for the first time. Something that I thought was just going to be a little test of streaming ended up being 10 hours, and well, I'll go ahead and show you what happened. The goal for this stream was pretty simple, just get as much smithing XP as you reasonably can. We started it at 6 from the end of the last episode, and our goal, as I mentioned before, is get up to 30. Now, there was a problem. This was the first time that I had streamed, so I did it in a relatively amateur fashion. I didn't actually get any clips or anything during the stream. I didn't realize that that's something that I should have been doing, but this is the only stream where I didn't do that. So from now on, streams aren't going to be taking away any content, but this one specifically, fortunately, it wasn't the most engaging stream. If you want to watch it, you can go on my second channel, Pukavods, if you really have 10 hours to spare. In terms of what we actually did, well, I guess I'll just go ahead and spoil it for you. So during this stream, we got to 22 smithing. Now, if you're disappointed that this wasn't part of the video, I totally understand. This will not happen again in the future, but I promise you, there's still a lot of grinding to go, not just with smithing, but even smithing alone, that's not even halfway. I know 22 out of 30, it sounds like it should be pretty damn close, but with the way exponents and RuneScape work, it's not. Like, it's a lot of progress, yes, but there's still quite a bit more in the future of this. I was about to say this account, but even in this video, I mean, you can see how long the video is right now. I mean, I promise you, there's plenty more to go. One final thing for real this time, I promise, I'm using a client developed by some wonderful community members, which essentially takes the chunk boundaries, and rather than having to use a dev mode and having a relatively ugly way of showing them, it has a graphically pleasing way, and you can choose which chunks to show and not show. I want to make it very clear, though, if you want to use it, you can use it yourself. You can join my Discord server, grab it for yourself, but this is an unofficial, personal use only client. Do not bother the RuneLite devs about this. If you have any problems or if you need support, keep it on my Discord only. Don't bring it anywhere else. This is very much a personal use, non-official, non-endorsed thing. And as you can see, I am 22 smithing. as I went over in the little recap, hopefully. That's 42.4% of the way there. Let's go ahead and start smithing. Just for the uninitiated, just to show off what kind of stuff we're dealing with right here. We get 6.5 XP for every bar we're smelting, with 14 bars in an inventory. I didn't do the math, but you know what? It's not a lot, so I'll just leave it at that. What's interesting, though, is because there's so little smithing, I'm actually getting my mining up way more than I expected, because mining each rock is like, what, 10 XP or something? I forget at this point. But we need 2 rocks per bar, so say it's 10 XP each. It might not be, but let's use that as a number. That's 20 mining XP for every 6.5 smithing XP we're getting, so we're already at 38 mining. So if we get a gold rock or something, we don't even have to train that at all. We've already done it with the smithing grind, so that's certainly an interesting thing. Also, a strategy that I'm using just to make things a little bit quicker is I am using the World Hopper in Moonlight. You could just do this with the in-game World Hopper too. It doesn't really matter either way. But I am hopping to a PvP world every time I come over here, because if you're not familiar with how PvP worlds work, PvP worlds have banks in slightly different spots. For example, if you, in Lumbridge, there's a bank chest right here, and it's in a safe zone, so you won't get killed as long as you don't go far away from it. So I can hop to a PvP world, put in everything, and then hop back, and it's a good way to save a few seconds, just so you're not, I mean, in normal play, it doesn't really matter, right? But when I'm doing something like this a million times, it definitely will help over time. Is it going to be insanely significant? No. But it's certainly, it'll save at least, I don't know how to quantify it actually. I don't know exactly how much time I'd save, but it probably saves 15 seconds every time I'm banking, right? Which actually, well, now that I say it out loud, that's a lot, because I've already done this for 10 hours and banked so many times. Like I have 800 bars in the bank, right? So 800 divided by, let's just say 20. It should be divided by 14, but 14 is harder to do in my head. So divided by 20, that's 40. So 40 times 15 is, let's just do 40 times 10, because that's 400 times, so 600 seconds, which means I've already saved 10 minutes of banking. So just by hopping PvP worlds. Now, the thing is, taking PvP worlds, I mean, going to them does take a second longer, but I mean, I think it does work out, though. I'm going to save a significant amount of time, enough that it's important to do. So yeah, that's my little math moment there. Math moments with One Chunk Man. Something that some people might be wondering is, why is it that I'm smithing every single trip? Why wouldn't I just bank all the ore and then come back and use the furnace after getting all the ore and do shorter trips there? Well, unless I'm mistaken, which I don't think I am, I'm going to put a little diagram on the screen showing the math. If you go straight to the furnace and then bank after each trip, it actually ends up being the same distance walked every time. But if you were to bank and then go back and then bank and then go back and then bank and then smith and then bank and then smith, it would end up being the exact same distance either way, but separating the ores and smithing into 2 steps means I have to do double the banking, which means I would have to hop to the PvP worlds twice as much. So it would end up taking twice as long in terms of the hopping. Would it be that much of a difference? Perhaps not. But is it enough to make me not want to do it? Yes, I think that it is still more efficient to be doing it the way I'm doing it, where you go directly to the furnace and then to the bank. So I haven't actually done the math yet, but now I've just made a job for myself while I'm doing the video. So I guess that's more work for me to do. Yay. Aw, damn, look at that. Also, I didn't know. Look, he's gone. But the chat box is still there. How is that even possible? Did I already learn NPC contact? That's weird. I didn't know that could happen, but you know, that's pretty nice. Look at that. Are you guys ready? This is a big moment right here. Can you feel the anticipation? I know I can. Look at that. Level 2. Can't actually do anything with it until level 10, but you know, it's good to have level 2 because now our random events are going to give us even more XP, so that's certainly a good time. I don't actually know how many it takes for each one, but I'm pretty sure that level 1 is the slowest for a little while. And I think it basically only speeds up from here. I could be wrong, but I think now our rates are going to get better. And I mean, it's still going to take forever, certainly. But it's a good start. We're now level 2 agility. We just ruined our level 1 agility pure, unfortunately. So I guess we're going to have to restart the account. But, you know, I'm glad to have it, glad to see it. Now I have the 2 of these little lungy guys instead of just 1. Actually, what even is that icon? Like, what's wrong with him? That's not what people look like. Like, like this leg is, like, way longer than this one, because this leg is straight. This leg's bent, right? Wait, is it longer? I can't even tell, actually. Maybe it's not. Yeah, actually, I don't think it is. It just looks super weird. I've never really looked at the icon in detail, but that doesn't make any sense. Like, that's not what people look like when they're running. Also, like, this arm is, like, in a completely different position than this arm. What? This icon doesn't make any sense, dude. Like, his chest is facing the camera, but he's running to the right. Like, are his hips, like, a mechanical swivel? Can he turn that far? Oh, we got 23 smithing. You know it's a crazy grind when I'm getting 40 smithing. Not even, that's not what this says. This clearly says mining. Why did I say smithing? My brain just decided to swap them there for no reason. You know it's really a crazy grind when you get 40 mining. Holy shit, I just peaked the mic so hard. Sorry, listeners. Yeah, I got 40 mining as a secondary ingredient of the grind from just copper and tin. So if we ever need to mine gold, then we're good. Yeah, I wonder if we're going to hit 50. It's certainly a possibility. I wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, I guess we'll see what happens. It's interesting. Very interesting. And we just got 24. I don't know what exactly it is, but for some reason, the way I have my inventory set up right here is really satisfying. Like, oh wait, hold up. That's even better. Look, because the mine rune, like, matches the color of the copper, the arrow matches the color of the tin, and then they kind of, like, lock together because you have all the top, and then there's, like, this kind of, it's like 2 mechanisms that, like, connect to each other. Kind of like those, the woodworking joints where they slot together perfectly, and they have all the surface, not the surface, like the friction of the surfaces together. It holds it together. That's kind of what this reminds me of. Like, I don't know, dude, that inventory just looks really nice to me. Okay, so 2 things here. Number 1, just got 42 mining. That's pretty crazy. Actually, what's the next thing that we can get from mining? Probably mithril is the next meaningful thing, so not really close to that, but you know, it's gonna happen eventually. Not anytime soon, you know, but whatever. Number 2. Well, I guess number 2, I can just say, hey, we're 58.5% of the way there. That's pretty cool. But number 3, I was looking at this clan chat icon down here. And, like, what's the deal with these guys? What are they wearing? Like, first of all, the guy in the back has some, like, cat ears on. Are they just, like, into anime? Are they furries? What are they doing with that? Not that there's anything wrong with either of those things, but, like, what's happening there? It's just interesting, because if I get really close, like, I can't, it just looks like they're little cat ears, or maybe, like, monkey ears or something. It doesn't look like it's an element of a helmet. And this guy, he doesn't even, like, that doesn't look like a helmet either. It just looks like he's wearing, like, a gray bandana, or it kind of looks like someone took his scalp and, like, cut it off, and that's his skull. Like, did someone scalp him? Is the guy, whoa, hold up. Like, the guy behind him is kind of in shadow, if you look at it. Like, it's a darker, sort of shaded smiley face. Is he, like, lurking in the shadows behind him, and he just, like, scalped him, and he's holding this head as a trophy? Is that why it's down to the left there? Like, is there, like, an invisible body that's not just that's not drawn? This is actually a trophy of this guy's, and it's, like, the Otaku Wars. That's why he has the ears on. And this is just, like, an anti-weeb. Is this, like, a premonition for the year 2025? Chilling with my dude over here, along with these ducks as well. Just a whole group of friends, hanging out, playing some RuneScape, getting 25, smithing. I already talked about 25, I'm not going to talk about it again, but I feel the same way that I did before. 58.6, I don't think that changed from last time. I think I was, like, right on the precipice of that level, and I just didn't realize it, so yeah, we got that going for us. but still a ways to go. Hey, that's 43 mining plus Windows notification because why not? Also, I just have music in the background that I forgot to pause because I'm streaming. Should have paused that, but you know what? It's all good. Video people can have some music too. You guys deserve music, don't you? I love all of you equally, so you're all my family. After that last level, we got some fishing too from our good friend Evil Bob. Don't really need that anymore given that we have fishing unlocked, so that's... I mean, it's nice to have, certainly. I never complain about it, but it's certainly not a necessity. But I guess we will need it in the future eventually because we have our salmon and trout up north. As soon as we unlock Port Sarum, we'll get the fishing shop, which gives us a fly fishing rod, which gives us salmon. But for right now, it's not really required, but I guess it's nice to have, so I'm certainly not complaining about it. I am actually looking forward to fishing because I really enjoy fishing a lot. It's one of my favorite skills probably just because of how chill it is. You can just kind of click and just walk away for like 2 hours and you're good. And that sounds really dumb because obviously it's like, why would you play a game to not play a game? But I don't know. It's just, it works for me. I enjoy it. So that's my justification. If you disagree, then you disagree and we can leave it at that. 65.4% of the way there. This is a really long grind, but honestly, it's bearable. So we'll make it eventually. And I mean, you guys aren't experiencing it. Well, some people are experiencing it. I have some chat here. I'm actually live streaming right now. So the thing that I quipped about in previous clips where I'm like, oh, you're in the future, you're watching a video, not necessarily true. Now I have some companionship for what I'm doing. So some of you are in the future. Some of you can't feel my pain, but some of you can. So I have a little bit of camaraderie. But yeah, we're still doing this. And we still got a while to go. Probably like, let's see, it's at 4,600. We're getting 550 per hour. So it's about 9 hours left. It's going to be a while. This isn't really important for anything, but that's 70 smithing right there. Or not 70 smithing. Damn, I wish it was 70 smithing. That would be impressive. It's 70% of the way to 30 smithing. Unfortunately, we're not at 70 smithing yet. That would make the west chunk a lot easier if we had 70 smithing, but alas, it is not the case. Certainly wish it was, but you know, that's going to be a long time, so we're not going to worry about it right now. But yeah, 70% of the way there. Still a little while to go. We have 4,000 remaining XP, which means we have about 8 hours of grinding left. Maybe a little bit less, maybe more like 7 because it's a little bit more, but yeah, still got a ways to go. Another mining level. We got a nice satisfying multiple of 11. That's cool. I always like when you get the same two numbers next to each other. And look at the way the fours kind of connect there. They make like a line across them. So it's almost like you could draw like 2 ones and then kind of just do a slash across them. If you were doing like calligraphy kind of stuff, that would look nice. It's not really relevant to anything. I'm just saying that I got 44 mining in a weird way. But yeah, that's kind of an emblematic of how slow this grind is. We have 26 smithing, but 44 mining. It's like not even a surprise that we've gotten this far. I mean, it's a little bit of a surprise that we've gotten this far, but you know, just like the idea of getting this much mining XP with this little smithing XP is just absurd. It's taking so long, but we're doing it. It'll happen. Another smithing level. It's 72.8% of the way there. That's like, what, 7 hours more? Wow, these coal and tin rocks sure look different, don't they? Well, astute viewer, you may have noticed that these are not, in fact, coal and tin rocks. This is the entrance to the ham hideout. Why am I here? I'm not 30 smithing. That's weird. Well, the reason I'm doing this is because as soon as I unlock Drainer, I'm gonna need 38 thieving anyway. So I might as well do ham members. Also something that I missed earlier, actually, so technically I've been cheating. Technically, some of the ham outfit is best in slot for defense. I didn't realize that, so that was my bad. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now, just because I need to retroactively complete that. Coal and tin, did I say coal and tin? I meant coal and iron, you know, it's the same thing. So I need to get the coal and iron from the ham members to, that'll give me a little bit of a smithing boost, but it's going to be so slow it doesn't really matter. But it'll give me a little bit of smithing, so it should be fine. It should be helpful at least. So yeah, I'll be thieving the ham members for a little bit. I know we'll get back to 30 smithing. We will complete it. It's just this is a little diversion. Also, I've been doing smithing for 20 hours at this point, and I just want to like spontaneously explode so I can leave this existence and never have to smith another bar again. But that's just me. Okay, let's get to thieving. 21 thieving. I can now legally steal alcohol. So this is some straight up bullshit right here. This dude, Dr. Jekyll, are you even licensed? I don't think you're a real doctor, honestly. Just looking at you, you don't look like a doctor. You look like some kind of taxidermist, maybe, at best. And at worst, you're like an uncle who has been unemployed since the fucking Great Depression. But that's just me. He thinks I don't have guam leaf. That was like guam leaf to me, okay? So I'm just saying, I don't appreciate this kind of thing right now. I'm not cool with it. Honestly, I just want to get out of here. Honestly, I don't want his strength potion. I don't need it. He's going to disrespect me like this? I don't even want what he's going to give me. Just got 22. We haven't been here super long, but it's been pretty okay so far. I mean, I think we're all we need for a full set is boots right now, so that's kind of what we're waiting on, because I don't actually need to get 38 thieving right now. Really, all I'm waiting on. I think boots might actually, I don't know if boots have different stats than other boots. I should check that, but I want to get a full set anyway, because why not? We're going to need it in the future. We're also just collecting stackable items, and we're going to need the thieving eventually, but we don't need it now, so I think I'm just going to go until I get like 2 sets, or maybe I'll go a little bit more if I'm not bored yet. But really, obviously, any kind of difference from smithing is pretty good, so it's not a big deal. I'm very much okay with doing this. So it's just a little distraction from what we've been doing before. So yeah, I'm going to keep doing that. Passive level coming in. Still no smithing content. I know you guys are really hungry for the 2,000 bars of bronze. I know it's really enthralling content, and I'm sorry that I can't provide more of it. But I'm dying inside because of it. But we'll get back to it eventually. I know it's really good stuff. So don't worry, we'll get there. All right, so I mentioned in the last clip that the only thing I had left to get was the boots, right? But I think I found out the problem. I've been pickpocketing these guys for like an hour or two of this. Actually, not an hour or two, maybe an hour. But look at what they're wearing. These are not hand boots. These are hand boots. These are not hand boots. None of these guys are wearing hand boots. These are all leather boots. Like, I'm sorry if I'm being too outraged this video after the Dr. Jekyll incident, but like, this game is just lying to me right now. And I don't even know how to respond to it. Like, I'm already wearing the boots they're wearing. Well, actually, I'm not wearing any boots. Wait, are they not wearing any boots either? Or are those leather boots? I honestly don't know. Look, I'm just saying, maybe there's just something broken in this game, okay? This is the kind of integrity issues that we really need to fix. I don't understand why we're worrying about the pub, why we're worrying about the drainer dock. Why does that matter when we have such glaring issues like this, okay? That's what I'm trying to tell you guys, okay? It's unacceptable. I decided to stop the thieving because I was getting bored of that too, and honestly there's something soothing about making these bars, even if it is ridiculous. I also I got 6 iron ore from the ham members, only got 2 iron, so this is kind of an example of why it's not a valid trading method. I thieved them for like an hour, and I got 6 iron ore and only got 2 iron bars out of it, so it's not really a valid way to be doing that. So yeah, for now I'm just gonna go back to the smithing. We're currently at 27 smithing. We are 75.8% of the way there. So I guess that's what, like only 6 more hours actually if I'm doing it efficiently. So that's like not awful. I'll also get to 24 thieving if anyone was not paying attention. So yeah, we got some more agility. I think this is the first one that we can get in level 2 agility. So now we can see, look, whoa, it actually doubled it. That's really good actually. Hold up. That's 20 agility right there. I'm extremely for that. So yeah, I guess agility is way faster now. That's certainly a good thing. Missed that sweet 45, unfortunately. 45 is also a good number because it's like 60 in general. Like base 60 is dope because you got like divisible by 12, divisible by 15, divisible by 5 is pretty lit. So just want to say, in terms of numbers, that's another good one if you were ever wondering. Still smithing. We're at 28. That's 2 more. I'm really tired. I don't want to do this anymore. Look at that. 81% on the dot. Just got a spinach roll from a random event. We're now a 1 spinach roll Ironman. Oops, we're now a 0 spinach roll Ironman. I guess that's kind of that account dead. Whoops. I guess I'll just wait for the next one. We need 1 more smithing level. I don't want to ever smith a bronze bar again. Whoa. Whoa. So, we haven't made significant progress in this last level. We're still 93.7% of the way there, which is pretty close, honestly. It's kind of surprising. It's really not too bad. A little bit over an hour of progress left, but I'm going to be really quiet right now and just listen to this ambient noise. Do you hear this cricket? This cricket happens like once a second. And I've been listening to this for probably like 20 hours. It's really annoying. And I mean, like, I could turn off the game sound, but then I would feel like it's cheating, right? Like, I think enduring the ambient sounds is part of this, right? I don't know, that's how I feel. There's also some bird noises, but the bird noises are more random, so it's really not that bad, but this cricket is really bothering me, so I still have an hour to listen to that. Side effect of the new plugin, it makes this maze look really badass, so that's pretty cool. We're like in an edgy alternate dimension maze. Like, you ever played what game is it? Super Paper Mario? You have the alternate dark Hub World, that's this alternative, you know? That's what this is. I haven't played that game since I was like 10 years old. Was that even a part of it? I don't remember, dude. I'm not really sure if this maze reward is useful or not, because I mean, I don't think I need any of these anytime soon. Technically, this Mithril ore, if I unlock the chunk over here, it'll make it a little bit faster, so I guess that's cool, and I don't really have any reasonable way to access natures, so yeah, I mean, I'll take it. It's not much, but I'll certainly take it. 30 hours later. Actually, it wasn't 30. That's a total complete fabrication. 20 hours later, maybe like 25. I'll give it a 25 as a compromise. Can we all agree on that? 25 hours later, 2,166-ish bronze bars later, we have 30 smithing, and I'm hoping that's going to be the last smithing for a while. I could be completely wrong, and I could hate my life for the next, year because I get stuck in the West Swamp doing even more smithing, but honestly, if hating my life, I mean, that's kind of the norm, so I don't mind it that much. I'm very much used to it. Yeah, I guess, honestly, I don't even know what to say, dude. Like, seeing those numbers, 3 and 0 together like that, under the word smithing, I don't know how to react to that. It's been so long, and we did it. I mean, I guess I haven't done it all the way. I need to actually make the bar, huh? So I guess I'll go ahead and make that, right? Because that's all we really have to do now. I still haven't done the quest, actually. I'll do the quest right after this, but this is like the only important thing we have to do. So I might as well just do that. Let's just see, how many bronze bars have we gone through? That is insane. I'm wondering, has anyone ever actually... I don't need all these. What am I doing with this? Has anyone ever actually made that many bronze bars manually, apart from maybe like a bot or like some free-to-play player who doesn't know what they're doing? I'm trying to think if there's ever any situation where you would have to do that, and I don't think there is. It's just... That's so much. Also, look at this. Look at this bar. Look at the red text that says complete. That is extremely satisfying. So this is the moment of truth. This is what we've all been waiting for this entire time. The final real goal of the chunk, right there, number 5. Steel bar. Are you guys ready for this? Because I think I am. Oh my god, look at that. 18 smithing experience. The conglomeration of all of our efforts. We've done it. That's done. I guess I'll really quickly do Misslin Mystery and then roll a new chunk because, I mean, we've fulfilled the goal. We've done it. I don't know what else to say. So I guess, given that I don't know what else to say, I'll stop saying meaningless nonsense and just stop talking. Just as a little addendum to the last thing, we also need to kill a rat and make the meat. This is part of the cooking requirement for this chunk. Obviously, it's not like a major thing, but it still should be done because, I mean, we gotta be completionists. We gotta make sure we get everything done. It is important that we are consistent and very clear about our rules. I know a lot of people in the comments are ready to catch me out on every little thing, and honestly, that's fair. I don't blame you, but that's one thing you can't complain about. So if you go to the comments right now, tell me that I'm a garbage human being for not collecting and cooking the rat meat, well, everyone else should just go down in the comments and tell you that you're wrong. Okay? Because look at that. He's done it. The final thing for the chunk here is this quest, which unfortunately it's not going to be super interesting because I've done it, but I'll give you guys a little overview of it. Basically, these guys have been sitting here. This guy's hurt. He's been hurt for about, I've been mining this for 25 hours, like I mentioned before, and I've just been walking by them. I walked by them about 100 times, and I mean, I'm amazed that no one else has helped them. I don't really understand why they've just been sitting here the whole time. Certainly, they could have gotten some help, but I guess it was really important to them that I was helping them, even though they've been here for actually over a day just sitting there. There's also a civilization literally right here. Certainly Abigail could have just walked up this path and asked for help, right? So yeah, I'm not really sure about the lore here. I don't 100% get it. But I'll just go with it for right now, you know. It's not a huge deal to me. Here is quite possibly the worst boss in the game. It's really annoying, honestly. It's probably going to be fine. Like, it's not actually hard, but it's just like, for a quest that's so good, how is this boss so annoying? Like, I just really hate doing this one, because it's just like, you have to, like, if you know what you're doing, it's okay. Like, if you preemptively set up the mirror, but it's just so obnoxious because the timing on this is very quick to the point where if it's in the wrong spot, you can't push it at all. But, you know, it's not a big deal. I don't really know why I'm complaining because this is literally like a baby quest. But I don't know, I like to complain, if you haven't noticed. I like to have problems with things. I like to be a bit of a bitch about stuff like this just because it's fun being that. So yeah, I'll finish the quest and stop complaining now. And with this cold-blooded murder comes the end of a tragic tale of Abigail and Huey. Also, what? Why didn't that work? That's not what you do? Oh, that's what you do. Okay, sure. This is the kind of inconsistency that I would expect from such a garbage game. Sorry, that was mean. This game is not garbage. Well, the game is garbage, but it's like a good garbage, so I'm okay with it. Like, I think this it's like garbage, but it's like garbage of that you find behind like the best restaurant. So like, I would still eat out of the garbage and it would still taste good, but I wouldn't really like. I'm not proud of it, you know. But it would be some great stuff. So, yeah. Sorry, I'm doing a quest. Let's talk about that. That's more important. We did it. That's the quest. Yay! Oh god, I was not recording that. Fuck. Damn it. I didn't record any of that. Let's see. So I didn't record it. I pressed the button wrong. And I accidentally stopped a recording, I think, rather than making a recording. But we did a quest. This is green now. We have a quest point. We got 2 crafting levels, which is neat. Yay. And now it's that time once again, where we unlock a new chunk and figure out what direction our adventure will take us on. Now, for the eagle-eyed among you, you might notice, wait a second. This isn't the normal thing you do to get a chunk. What is this? Well, a lovely viewer of mine has actually made a website that is specifically for this purpose, where we can map out what chunks we have, what chunks we unlock, and I think it's pretty amazing, honestly, and I'm very happy to be using it. But basically, we have our currently playable space. We have all the chunks we can unlock, numbered and in green right here. So, right now, what are we thinking? We're thinking 1 is fine. We get milk. We can do a quest. That's pretty cool. We also have a butter churn. I'll need to figure that out, how that's going to work. I probably already figured that out, and that was actually in the intro of this video because I haven't thought about some of the rules yet. So, retroactively, you guys already know. I don't know. You know more than me. I'm a dumb video maker. You guys are a smart audience, and you guys are the smartest audience out there, okay? You already know what's happening. You guys are great. So, you're 1 step ahead of me. So, we'll figure that out, though. Number 2, we get cows. We get milk. We get wheat and a windmill. Does that matter? I don't think it does. I mean, we can make some more bread if we need to make bread. Sure, why not? Number 3, we get an anvil in this dungeon here. That's pretty great. We get a bank, which is cool. We get rope, which means we can actually put a rope down this hole here, but we don't have this unlocked yet, so it doesn't matter. We can also... I don't know, is Veos still... No, I don't think Veos is there. I think he got moved, or maybe he will get moved. Either way, we're probably not going to get Zaya through here. It's not really something that'll happen, most likely. It'll also mean we're closer to Wizard Tower, so that's cool. Number 4. This is where I want to just extremely die. That would be terrible. That would be really, really, really bad. Because, if you don't know, this mine right here is something... In the last video, I wasn't aware of it. I just assumed it was just something like this. No. This mine has an Adamant Rock. If we get this right now, I think that's about... We have to smith about 100,000 bronze bars or something like that. Absurd. There is a mithril rock here, but we still have to get from 30 to 50 smithing through bronze alone. And if you're not familiar with how the RuneScape leveling mechanics works, every 7 levels, you have to double the amount of experience. So going from 30 to 37 to 44... to 50, that is almost 8 times as much experience if I'm doing the head math correct. So even just that is crazy. That's going to be awful. I really hope we don't get that. We're going to have to figure that one out. That's going to be really bad if we get that. But yeah, that'll happen if it happens. I mean, eventually we're going to get this, but the ideal situation is we get a better method of crafting, or a better method of smithing before we have to do this, right? Like maybe we get some like iron and coal mines and we can just do it like normal people, or like there's even an anvil here, but like if we go north up to Varrock, there's some iron and coal, I think. There is coal here, actually, so that wouldn't be that bad if we got, like, iron or something beforehand, but yeah, that's gonna be awful. 5. Now, you might be saying, hey, hold up a second, you can't get there, you don't have agility. Well, if you watched the start of this video, I explained some rule changes, and, actually, I did not explain this, so here is a little intermission for you. Hey, it's me while editing the video again, and I didn't actually go over this before, so here's what's up with the eligibility of chunks to be unlocked. If I can walk to a tile in a locked chunk from a bordering unlocked chunk, then it's considered adjacent for unlocking eligibility. So, for example, I can walk from this chunk to this one, so that one's eligible. I can walk from here to here, so that's eligible. I can walk from here to here, so that's eligible. Walk from here, so that's eligible. Now, and then this is the other one that I can walk to, so I can walk from here to here, and that's eligible. Even if this gate was locked, it would still be eligible to unlock this chunk because I can walk to these tiles. It would just be like, say this gate was locked behind a quest, and you had to complete the quest and I couldn't do it. I could still unlock this chunk, but then I would have to, there would be nothing to do there, obviously, because I can't get through the gate. So I would have to unlock other chunks until I finished the quest that unlocked that gate, and then I have to come back and do this chunk as if it was a newly unlocked thing, everything behind us. That's how that'll work. And actually, in the video, you'll say, hey, why did you have this one and this one or highlighted for eligibility? I was actually using a different set of rules that I changed because I think it's dumb. This is what we're going to be using going forward, assuming I don't change it, but I don't think I will. This seems pretty good. Like, the idea of walking from one chunk to another is very natural, so that's what we'll be using. So just pretend that these two are not actually eligible to be rolled, because you can't use this until you get 58 agility plus a grappling hook, so that's not something that we can do anytime soon. We don't have that as an available thing in our chunks. And this one, I think you need like a hard or elite diary for the desert or something, so we definitely can't do that. So yeah, neither of these are bordering as of right now, so apologies for the inconsistency there, but going forward, if you can walk to a tile in a chunk adjacently, then it's adjacent. That makes sense, I think. Finally, there's this one. This one should be okay. I mean, it's going to be a lot of crafting just because we have this gem stall where we have to cut an emerald, so it's going to be kind of a lot, but it's not unbearable. So yeah, I guess now is when I press the button, huh? I don't want to press it. What if I just sit here for an hour and just not press it? I've read a lot of comments where people are saying that I ramble way too much before picking a chunk, and I'm honestly just kind of feeding that right now because I've been sitting here for about 5 minutes, and I wonder how many people have clicked off the video at this point. If I just sit here for another 10 minutes and I just don't choose, what happens then? How mad would you guys be? You know what? No, I'm just I clicked it. Holy fuck. I want to die. Holy fuck. So that's the series over. Thanks everyone for watching. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the support. I thought this was going to be something I could do in the future, but no, we're just done. Everything's done. Most of you are probably familiar with why I had the reaction I did here, but let's talk about it in a little more detail. The chunk that I just unlocked is the Lumbridge West Swamp. What does unlocking this chunk entail? Well, in order of least to most significance, we have an entrance to the Lumbridge Swamp cave system, which would be relatively problematic because we lack any non-flammable light sources, but as far as I can tell, there don't seem to be any worrisome required tasks down there. We'd have to get 33 fishing for frog spawn, but apart from that, we lack the quest requirements to get to Dorgish Khan or unlock Tears of Guthix, so it's not a terribly expansive area. Then we have Father Ernie's house, which is part of the Restless Ghost quest. This isn't terribly important yet, as we wouldn't be able to complete the quest even with this chunk unlocked, but it will be a prerequisite for other quests down the line. Finally, and most importantly, we have the West Swamp Mine. This unassuming pickaxe icon holds a lot more pain than it lets on, because unlike the East Mine, which just has copper and tin, this mine ups the ante, so to speak. This mine has coal, mithril, and adamant. Conceptually, this isn't anything new. We just finished a smithing grind for steel, so what's wrong with taking that a couple steps further? Well, let's break down the numbers here. To get from level 1 to level 30 smithing, we had to get 13,363 smithing experience. Every bronze bar we smelt gives 6.2 experience, which means to go from level 1 to 30 smithing, we had to make 2,156 bronze bars. Assuming an XP rate of 800 XP per hour, which, by the way, is significantly more than I was ever getting, so this is generous, means that at peak efficiency, this grind would take 16.7 hours. Not too bad, right? Well, this new chunk has mithril and adamant, so looking from level 30 smithing to the 50 required for mithril is 87,970 XP, which would take 110 hours. I mean, alright, that's a really long time, but it's at least feasible. Well, after doing that, what about the 70 smithing it takes to get to adamant? Getting from 50 to 70 smithing requires 636,000 XP, which is equivalent to 102,000 bronze bars, which would take a total of 795.4 hours to complete at peak efficiency. Just for a bit of perspective on how long that is, if you were to smith bronze bars full-time 40 hours per week at a generously overestimated XP rate, it would take 19.9 full weeks just to get from 50 to 70 smithing. Now, you might say, hold on a minute. At 50 smithing, you can start smelting mithril bars instead. Surely that's faster than continuing with just bronze bars. Unfortunately, while mithril bars do clock in at a healthy 30 experience per bar, you also have to account for the facts that, number one, mithril and coal, the elements of a mithril bar, each take significantly longer to mine than do copper and tin. Number two, a mithril bar requires 5 elements, 1 mithril and 4 coal, as opposed to the 2 of bronze. And number three, the West Swamp mine, where the coal and mithril are located, is significantly further from the Lumbridge furnace when compared to the East mine. These 3 facts together mean that, in this specific situation, smelting mithril bars would actually end up being slower than just continuing with the current path of bronze. So to get from level 1 to level 70 smithing with our restrictions ends up being a total of 737,000 smithing experience, which means smelting 118,000 bronze bars, which would take 922 hours or 23.1 weeks. This means that at 4.35 weeks per month, this would be a total of 5.3 full-time working months. Here's a fun little graph of the XP requirements if you want to visualize it a little bit better. The green is the 1 through 30 we've done so far, the yellow is 30 through 50, and the red is 50 through 70. Now, I'm just going to be completely honest and upfront with all of you. I made a massive mistake by not addressing this kind of situation previously. Smithing bronze bars for what would realistically end up being longer than 6 months straight is not something that I'm capable of, and I know that this is going to end up being disappointing to many people. Trust me, I'm very much disappointed in myself because obviously a situation like this would appear eventually, and it was irresponsible and unwise of me not to create some kind of contingency plan from the beginning. I guess the naive and idealistic part of me was hoping that the purity of this account would continue just through blind luck, but obviously I was wrong. So where does this leave me? In my mind, I have 4 main options. Number 1, just do the grind. Just smith 100,000 bronze bars and get it over with. Unfortunately, as I previously stated, this is not something that I would be able to do as much as I wish it were, so that's off the table. Number 2, pretend this didn't happen and roll a different chunk. In my mind, this is actually worse than number 1. This would be completely throwing away the values of this account and the whole reason for creating this series in the first place, and this is absolutely not something that I'm going to do. Along with being blatantly inconsistent and arbitrary, this also doesn't actually solve the problem, and it would just end up happening again later. Number 3, restart the account. While I would actually prefer this to the previous option, I think it's pretty obvious that this would be a bad solution to the problem. Odds are it would end up happening again and again, and it would be a soft limit on how much any account could ever progress going forward, so this is also not a good solution. Number 4, create a rule for re-rolling. Creating a rule that would allow me to re-roll a chunk is something that many people have suggested previously, but it's one that I never really liked. In my mind, a big part of the fun of this account is the variation and the unflinching non-malleability of the rule set. Rules, in my mind, should be as simple as possible to allow for a fun but consistent experience. In fact, a core value that I kept in mind while creating this game mode was the lack of exceptions, and a reroll rule felt to me like a cop-out, like I was compromising the integrity of the game mode for no clear benefit. But in a situation like this, something has to be done, so if I had to have some form of rerolling, what elements would it require? First, it has to be punishing. Very punishing. Rerolling should be a last resort, something you would only ever do in the face of an insurmountable task. A reroll should never seem preferable to something that you could do but just don't want to. So it's very important that any rule that would allow you to reroll also includes harsh punishment so that you can't just reroll constantly to avoid any and all adversity. Secondly, there must be consequences. This might seem pretty similar to the previous point, but in my mind, punishment and consequences are two related but discrete concepts. Punishment is an immediate pain, something that comes quickly and can be very harsh, but does fade away rather quickly once it's over. Consequences, on the other hand, linger for much longer and may not have the initial punch of punishment, but nevertheless are very present and affect what options you have going forward. Finally, it must be consistent and non-arbitrary. It's very important to me that any rules I make are clear, with consistent and repeatably applicable logic. The purpose of rules should be self-evident and work in a myriad of different situations. There should never be a rule that just applies to one problematic thing and that's it. In my mind, that wouldn't be a rule. That would be an exception. So, with these three principles in mind, I created what shall henceforth be known as the One Chunk Man Reroll Rule. Immediately after unlocking a new chunk, it is permitted to relock that chunk and restart the chunk unlocking process with that chunk excluded, provided that the following conditions have been fulfilled. First, all items, whether they are equipped in the player's inventory or in any form of accessible storage, have been dropped or otherwise destroyed. Second, after disposing of all the account's items, the account's maximum previously held bank value has been surpassed by newly acquired items. And third, all previous best-in-slot items have been reacquired. After the reroll, the locked chunk will remain locked and blacklisted from any and all future rolls until the required skilling challenge levels have been gained independently in other unlocked chunks. So, in layman's terms, in order to reroll a chunk, I have to drop every item on the account and rebuild to my previous total bank value and regain best-in-slot items before rolling a new chunk. And the locked chunk remains locked and blacklisted until I get all of the required levels to complete it from other chunks, in this case the main requirement being 70 smithing. I understand that many will view this as compromising the values of the account, and it could also be seen as an overly elegant and superfluous exception. I totally understand this point of view, and honestly, a part of me agrees with you. I apologize for not addressing this earlier, and any disappointment or frustration is completely understood and warranted. I did my best here to keep it in line with what the concept of the account dictates, and while it's obviously not ideal, I think that this is the best case scenario, as the primary alternative would be the death of the account and the series. Thank you all for joining me on this trip. Now, let's get back to the actual video, shall we? I already explained it, but yeah, we're going to be dropping our whole bank and rebuilding up to the value of 963,000. So I'm just going to, I logged that down. It's 963,000. Also, we have this clip, so it's going to be pretty easy to remember. But we're going to be taking everything out of our bank and dropping it. And we need to build back up to 963,000. It's going to be painful. I should probably actually change world. So I want to give it to some cool people rather than these garbage PKers. You guys can get out of here. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead, change world, and I'm going to go ahead and drop all of this stuff. And I'll see you back once I'm actually dropping it. This is the moment of truth. This is all our progress from about 100 hours of play. Honestly, it's not that much when you look at it, but there's some memories here. I remember all the blood, sweat, and tears that went into these bronze bars. All the couple hundred times I talked to that general store owner to get those coins. It's going to be painful. It will be. But we're going to do it. And this is going to be a sacrifice that we make for a brighter future. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today as we destroy history. Welcome to a new era. All of this being tossed to the void, never to be seen again, existing only in the upper echelons. How do you say that word? Is it echelons? No, it's not echelons. Is it echelons? That's a word, right? In the upper echelons of history. Also, it's not noted. God damn it. In the upper echelons of history. A tragedy unlike any others. I hate this. No, I don't hate it. This is the best way we could have done this, but this is like actually absurd. Okay, we're going to drop. That tile gets everything, dude. This tile gets everything. We're going to stop being so slow. We're dropping everything. This is done. It's game over, dude. Game over. Oh my god. Look at these. I should turn off these drop warnings, dude. I was like fantasizing about these drops, like getting this palm seed planted, getting that like 5k or whatever. That would be so good, dude. We're almost done. Oh, we're also gonna get rid of untradables, like the camo top that's just gone. It's so sad. No more square sandwiches, no more triangle sandwiches, no more frog token. Look at that 5 ham cloaks. How are we ever gonna recover, dude? Alright, that's our bank gone. And that, my children, is our legacy. Gone with the wind. Except not the movie. Just the saying. Because this is RuneScape. Movies don't exist in this game, I don't think. So, you know. I guess that's that then, huh? Well, time to start rebuilding. Let's get on the grind. Everyone, get ready. So this right here might be familiar to anyone who has watched episode 1. It's a man. And you know what we gotta do? We gotta pickpocket 2. Oh, wait, I didn't drop this. What the hell? Whoops. That's my bad. Destroy that. Get out of here. We don't need that. We need to pickpocket this man so we get 216 gold. Remember that? Remember doing that? 100 hours ago, back when we were first figuring out this account? This is some nostalgia right here. This is how you play the game. It's all starting over again, and we're going big, dude. We're going big. Paying 0 attention. Got that quarter to 100. It's a good time. Back to our roots, back to basics. Is that a song? Back to basics? Or is that just a saying? I know that term from somewhere. Why do I know it? We've successfully pickpocketed men, bought our axe, bought our knife, and my current plan for what I'm going to do, we're going to be chopping willow logs for fletching. Now you might ask, why don't you just go ahead and chop yews? Their logs are worth way more. That would be faster. And in the short term, I bet just straight up chopping yew logs till we get to that 963k would be faster. But I'm thinking ahead. And I'm thinking in the future, as just its own money-making method in general, it would be a good idea to have a high fletching, and we're going to need a higher fletching for goals in the future. For example, when we unlock magic logs, or when we unlock redwoods. No, you can't fletch. Can you fletch redwoods? Hold up. That would be interesting. Oh, you totally can. Okay, yeah, we're going to need that in the future then. So yeah, we're going to need fletching in the future anyway. So we might as well go ahead and just do that now. Because once we get to, 65 fletching, I think it is. If we go to 65 fletching, that means we can use yew logs in our fletching grind. And the short bows and longbows have a pretty decent value. So it's going to be useful for our rebuilding anyway. So yes, in the short term, it might be a little bit worse. But I think it's the best idea going forward. So you can look forward to a lot more content like we had in episode 1. I don't know. That episode seemed to be pretty popular. People seem to like it. So maybe getting back to our roots will make things a little bit better. Actually, no, I'm not doing willows at all. I'm going to do yew trees, because if the value of the yew log is actually more, if you look, the yew log itself is worth almost 300, but a yew short bow is worth a little over 200. So if I were to fletch it right now, it would actually bring my value down, and I can always save the logs and fletch them later. So it's not really a huge deal for me. So I'm just gonna go with the logs for now. Oh, that was my voice did something there. I'm gonna go with the logs for now, and we will worry about that later. It'll be nice to have another sort of thing stacked up in the bank, just because we'll have something to look forward to later, and it'll also be a punishment for the future. If something like this happens again, we're going to have even more stuff in the bank that we'll have to worry about. So yeah, I think this is going to work out better for right now. Here is my current bank. I didn't even chop that much yew, but it's really slow, and I was getting kind of bored. So I decided that I'm going to go and try to thieve from ham members, because these guys right here are pretty valuable, and it might actually be faster, and I'm going to need them in the future anyway, so I might as well just thieve 2 sets of ham robes, or get 38 thieving or whatever, and I think that'll be a pretty good way of getting some money, and it'll break up the monotony a little bit, so that's a thing I'm going to be doing. After a little bit of thieving, that's 28. I don't think this is better than yews necessarily, but we're gonna need the ham outfit anyway, and it's just some useful materials to get, so there's more variety certainly. It's not bad. Definitely something that I'm okay with. So I'll keep doing this for a while. I'll probably get a decent bit of ham outfit, and we'll stop. I don't have a specific set goal, but I think it's useful to do. So I got a level 27, also total level 475 if you care. So this grind is almost certainly slower than other options, I would say, but we're gonna need this stuff anyway, and it adds some variety, so I'll just do it and switch back later. But yeah, for right now, this is okay, so I don't mind it. I didn't even realize I got this until right now. I just checked it after our second inventory of ham thieving, which, by the way, I think I'm probably done with that for now, just because it's slow and boring. But we got a clue we can do, which I didn't even know this was a clue, so that's pretty neat. Technically, I think it's possible to get back-to-back of the same clue step. So technically, we could get like 2 or 3 of these steps in a row and do it all in one go. Ooh, that was a rhyme there. You hear that? I'm Dr. Seuss, except I didn't cheat on my wife who had cancer, so I'm not quite Dr. Seuss, but it's close enough. So we're gonna go ahead and do this clue step, and maybe we'll get ridiculously lucky, but maybe we also won't, because we probably definitely won't. But, we'll see how it works. Search boxes. Is it gonna work? What the hell? That's actually, kind of close. I mean, do we keep that? I guess we keep it. That's pretty cool. Yeah. I'll just keep this clue scroll, because I think that's the best we're gonna get, as far as I can tell. Yeah. Just showing my bank, because we're at 48 out of 963k right now. Back to the U grind, because it's just faster and better, I think, than even Willow's, so I didn't want to do more Willows. We also get an exam random, which is pretty good. So we're going to do that and get some, I guess, what is that, 30 agility experience, which is actually pretty good. That's not bad at all. I'm extremely for that. We can get some more agility up, and it's only going to accelerate as we get more, right? So that's a good time. So, bam, look at that, 30 agility experience, over halfway there. 39 more, so we need 2 or 3 more randoms, depending on what they are, I guess. Oh wait, no, it's actually only 2, because genies give 20 right now, so yeah, only 2 more, that's cool. I'm a little bitch, I decided to stop doing use, because that was being really slow, but I'm pretty sure literally everything I can do is really slow, but we're killing men now, and we got 20 defense, so that's fun, I guess. I'm just going to try a little bit of everything just to see what works, because this is going to take a long time. This is going to take, remember, my bank was a buildup of 100 hours of gameplay, right? And that's a lot of gameplay. And trying to do that in a limited amount of time is very difficult. So I'm trying my best, but I don't know. I'm trying not to stretch this out into an obnoxious amount of content, but now I'm rambling, so I am, obviously. I'm lying to you. But I've been here I've been doing this probably 2 hours at least, and we've made actually probably more than 2 hours. Actually, maybe 2 hours. I don't actually know. Maybe around 2 hours, maybe a little bit more. But we've made 80k so far in our bank, so we're 80k out of about 963,000, which is not awful, but it is definitely a long time that we're going to be doing it. So if we extrapolate those numbers, it'll be a 25-hour grind, which honestly is pretty accurate to the normal grinds we've been doing. But yeah, I don't know. That's not awful. Look, these men killing is actually getting some good stuff. These are some good drops right here. He's not amazing, but Lantodime, that's 1,000. Guamleaf is nothing. Marital's nothing. Guamleaf is nothing. That one's good. So we got a couple of things that are okay, but most things are bad. I don't know. We're going to need actually to kill men anyway until we get a bronze med helm. So that's useful, at least because remember, in our rules for rerolling, we also have to get all best in slot items back. And right now our best in slot helm is the bronze med helm. So yeah, if anything interesting happens, which is basically never, because this is RuneScape, what the heck am I talking about? I'll be back. We're still grinding on those men wink and getting those herbs. Also sort of wink. I don't know if that's really a wink, but getting that defense level up, pretty good time. Getting that Avanto, look at that. Grinding our bank up. Yeah, rest in peace, 69 woodcutting. The legendary level is no more. But that's pretty cool. Our first level 70 on an account. We got level 70 woodcutting with a steel axe, all trained within this first chunk. That's kind of silly. It's absurd, honestly. And also, look how satisfying that is. We got 60, 60, 70. That is extremely nice. I am very happy with that. And for those curious as to where we are on our current grind towards our bank value. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Our current grind towards our bank value, we're not close. We're definitely not close. But we're not as far as we could be either. This should cross us over. Yep, 102,000. So we still have 861,000 left to go, which, granted, is a lot, but it's a whole lot better than doing 100,000 bronze bars. So I'm going to count my blessings for what they are right now. And I guess we're going to keep on keeping on. I've settled in on just chopping U-logs as the main method of obtaining that sick bread. And we're currently at 126k. Sounds like a modem. I'm not old enough to have modems, like, in Ks. I don't know, dude, I'm just saying words now. We have 265 U-logs. I think these are the main part of our value. Yeah, this is 78k worth of U-logs. We do have some other stuff, like we have, like, ham stuff, which gives some value. But, yeah, remember, we're getting to a little under a mil, so we're still a long ways to go. But, yeah. So, one casualty of our bank deletion is that we lost all of our mined narrows. We had 1,200 of each of them. So I'm pretty sad about that, but we can claim some more during this grind, because I'm just going to be chopping U's, which is pretty chill. And along with that, you know what else we can do that's reasonably easy and based on a similar time scale? You know it. Oh, damn, I don't have a farming rake. Fuck, I thought I did. Also, what is this interface? Oh my god, this is a good interface. I have not looked at this since an interface. What? When was this a thing? No one told me about this. Let me go get a rake and come back and after I'm done admiring this interface. Raking content. We've been on our bank rebuild grind for a long time, like 7 hours or so, maybe a little bit less than that. I don't know how accurate this is, but it's been a while. We took a tiny break in the middle, but not that much. So we've been on this for a while. We got a random event, so I guess I might as well get some new best in slot fashion skate because holy shit, dude, we got the same item as before. That's right, we have a placeholder for that in our bank. It's beautiful, dude. We got our thought thighs back. It's wonderful. Let's go, dude. Best in slot fashion skate for a while, I think. 10 out of 10 item. I'm very glad I got that. First maze since our tragic setback. That's interesting. That right there is 15,000 closer to our full bank, plus some extra skilling materials for later. I'm a fan. If you get this random and you don't choose mystery box, you are a certifiable bitch. Like, that is just scientifically proven, okay? I just want to let everyone know that. Because instead of getting 1,000 coins, you could just get 500 coins, and it's just lit, dude. I love this game, goddamn. Wow. Just a little update. Day 2 of the rebuild. We're at 308k. Also, this area has quite possibly the most annoying ambient sound in all of RuneScape. So, yeah, avoid this if at all possible. Agility experience, agility experience, agility experience, agility experience. The random event RNG is so good on this account. First, we get the exact same pants we had before, then we get the exact same shirt. Like, I don't understand. How could it possibly get better than this? Haha, it's the Bodhi number. XD. When she says she's into guys who are financially literate. This seems like it could be something to look forward to. I got a medium clue scroll out of a bird's nest, and it's at the Wizard's Tower, which is not that far away. So how many chunks is that away right now? It's just 2 chunks away, so we could potentially get some progress on a medium clue. I think I'll keep it for now. So for those keeping track at home, we have a clue step right here for a medium, and we have a clue step right here for an easy, and that's actually step 2 of the easy, so it's possible that we could be looking at some clue scroll content in the future. It's not likely, but it's a whole lot more likely than it was before. Rake. Haha, it's the weed number. Time to get schooled. Schooling successfully gotten. That might be an agility level, isn't it? Oh, look at that! That's pretty neat. So 3 agility. Only 7 more to go until we can... Well, we also don't have Drainer unlocked, but you know, once we have Drainer unlocked. Also, This icon doesn't really look at all. Like, this icon looks like a normal dude. Like, I mentioned this before, but, like, the agility icon looks really weird. This looks like a normal dude, but, like, this? What is this? I like this guy. He has a cool little hair thing going on. Look, he has, like, the sort of a Johnny Bravo front swoosh kind of thing. But this guy? What even is he? Rip the 250k. This guy just dropped this next to me, and he's gone. I'm sad. I want it. Who has this kind of money to waste? Like, this is actually so much. How many are there? Jesus Christ. They keep coming. The seeds start coming and they don't stop 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 coming. Never mind, he's picking them all back up. He's not even dedicating to the bit. What a nerd. Get out of my video. You're banned. Some more raking content. We got the double digits. I don't know if that unlocks anything. That doesn't really matter, but I mean, you know, raking's fun. Oh, look at that clipping there. Or not the clipping, the way the view order is. What is it called? It's like the Z assignment. The dirt is above the rake. This is a garbage game. Series is over. Bye. I wasn't sure if I was gonna get this one, but we did. And now I guess if we ever get any magic trees, we're basically there. I'm fairly certain I'm not gonna get 75. Wait, actually, will I? Maybe I will, actually. I might just get 75 from this. I don't know. This is really high, though. I thought I'd get, like, 72 at best. So that's pretty crazy. So that's a thing that exists. So I haven't actually recorded any of this for a little while, but I just want to share you guys' pain with me. I'm currently about 100,000 gold away from my bank rebuild, and I think we've gotten, like, 10 seed nests. We've only gotten one good seed. Like, look, we just got an acorn. If we just got a U seed, we'd be done, I think. Because we only need, like, 100,000 more gold. Not even 100,000. Probably, like, 80,000 more gold and we'll be done. But we've gotten actually nothing in terms of seed. Like, I guess it's still good because the bird's nest is worth, what, like 3,000 gold? So that's fine, I guess. But it could be so much better, and it makes me sad. And I've just been doing this for like 20 hours. We've chopped like 2,000 U-logs, okay? So I'm just saying, I'm sad. That's all. It's nothing important. Like, who even cares anymore? But, you know. It's a quiz. Look at that. Is today going to be the day when we get our dragon spear? Almost certainly not, but that would be pretty lit if we did. Moment of truth. Get our mystery box. Open it up. That's pretty okay. I mean, I like it. It's probably more useful than 1,000 gold in my mind. We already have plenty of gold. Actually, no, we don't, because we had to drop all our gold, so we actually don't have much gold at all. But, you know, that's still pretty good. Also, while I'm here, I'm going to complain to you. So remember, one of the requirements for re-rolling a chunk is that we have to get all our best in slot items back. I've been at these ham members for 2 levels now. We started at 2017, we went 29, and I've died, like, once already. So we've gone through 2 full HP things. I don't know, 2 full, like, pools of HP. And I just cannot get the legs, because the legs are a best in slot item right now, right? And it's been taking actually 20 years. Like, I thought it was going to be a really quick 5-minute thing. I'd just go in, get them, get out, we'd be done, we'd be good to go, we'd reroll, we'd have some fun, we'd have a fun time. But no, apparently, this game just hates me, and the ham members just don't have legs ever. I guess they're all just like double amputees or something, and they just don't need pants. So yeah, it's a good time. This is the second thieving level that we've got from trapdoors on this account. So honestly, the joke that I made last time about getting 99 thieving from just trapdoors, it's not all that unlikely. At this rate, we've gotten 2 out of 30, so the odds of getting of 99 thieving, that means we have a 1 in 15 odds of getting this 99 on a trapdoor. That's how statistics works, right? If we extrapolate forward. It sounds right to me. But yeah, this is a really annoying grind. I don't know why these ham members are taking so long. I should have done it before I rebuilt the bank just to add bank value. But you know what? I've already made the mistakes, so we can't change them now. This is really slow. Got a cooking level. We're actually pretty close to getting a crafting level too. Like, I don't know. We might get both a cooking and a crafting level before we even get the real bottom. Because this is a 20-year-long grind. And I don't want to do it anymore. Alright, I'm actually not that mad. Just about like a minute after I did that last clip, I got this and didn't even notice it. I was just organizing my inventory, and then it was just there. So, I guess I pickpocketed at some point. I wasn't really paying attention, but yeah, that's new. We got all the best in slot things from Ham. Now we need the helmet, and we need the shield, so I'll go do that. Something I forgot to mention is that I also need a wizard hat along with that med helm, but I got that on like my 3rd imp kill or whatever, so that's pretty cool. It was much better RNG. Also, the helm didn't take long at all either, so much better RNG than the ham robes. So we got that going, and as far as I'm aware, that should be everything we need. So I think we can cut right now to a new chunk unlock. Let's go. Hey, just a quick editing note. Somehow I don't have a clip of the moment I actually got to 963k. It did happen. I mean, it's in the VOD somewhere. So yeah, that's a thing. So we did that. And in terms of the shield, you might have noticed I had an oak shield right there. So the best in slot shield that is chunk specific is the bronze square shield that's dropped by goblins. But since I have a high enough fletching level, I'm actually able to make an oak shield, which I did. And the thing is, an oak shield is not chunk specific, right? It's not tied to a specific chunk, but it is better than a bronze square shield. So essentially, this overrides the chunk best in slot, because if you have an item that's better than your best in slot chunk item, you don't need that best in slot anymore, because obviously it's not best in slot if you have something that's better than it. So that's just how that works. So if you can make something, you don't have to make it because it's not chunk specific, but if you do, then you don't have to worry about the conventional chunk specific best in slot item. Once again, we're at a familiar site here. Rolling a new chunk. And this time, I think I'm okay with all of them. Because this is like 27 crafting, it's going to be annoying, but we can do it. This is like milk and some cooking, I think, for the churn, which is fine. We get some cows, which will be cool. This is more cows and milk, that's cool. We can also do sheep shear if we get this chunk, so we get 2 quests done because we get the milk for cook assistant and we can sheep shear, which is a good time. Over here, this is the one I want most still, just because drainer is cool and it moves towards some cool stuff, so I would like that. But I mean, honestly, I'm just going to go ahead and roll, I guess, because I've already talked about all this, so might as well just go for it, right? Because, I mean, we can't get this one, so that's cool. Also, probably talked about it, but there's a new rule that I mentioned earlier probably, but if you can't walk to a tile in a chunk, then you don't unlock it. So technically, like, yes, we have part of this adjacency unlocked here, but we cannot walk there. So this is not a require, or this is not something that we can unlock at the moment. So that's what the rule is. So, yeah, I'm just going to click it. That's, alright, we got a lot of crafting going, but I'm cool with it. So yeah, this is going to be a lot of wool spinning content, I guess. Because we need to get to 27 crafting in order to craft the emerald into a cut emerald. So I guess I'll just go check it out and see what's up. Very important discovery. We can rake this. So we get double the raking from here on in. Oak tree, I'm coming for you. Another important discovery. Ali Morrisane sells chicken. So this is a really easy way and quick way to train whatever cooking we need. Because we will need some cooking relatively soon if we go up north to get the churn for buckets of milk. So that'll be nice. Instead of having to kill cows all the time, we can just buy some chicken. And it's very cheap. It's 1 coin per chicken. If I buy a bunch, does it cost more? No, it's always 1 coin. So that's actually, it's 1 GP per 30 cooking XP. That's like pretty good right there. I'm cool with it. So right here is the gem stall. This is what's giving us our current skilling goal. Now, you might say, why are you stopping at emeralds? Why aren't you cutting a diamond? Because he sells diamonds, right? Well, the thing is, he actually doesn't sell diamonds. He has this here because you can sell diamonds to him, but this will always be 0 by default. He does not actually stock diamonds. He only stocks sapphires and emeralds. So we can buy an emerald, we can't buy a ruby, we can't buy a diamond. You actually never can as an Ironman if you're not familiar with Ironman mechanics. Essentially, if something is over the stock, you just can't buy it. So, like, if I had someone else come in here and sell an uncut diamond to it, I couldn't even buy it because I'm an Ironman. It wouldn't let me. So, yeah, essentially, emerald is the best thing that you can get from him, so that's what we need to get. And, yeah, so that's what we're going to be working towards. There's actually a range right next to him, too. So this is actually, like, a really good way to train cooking. So if you just buy him here, cook him here, and I mean, honestly, you can just drop them. Like, if I had this bank over here, I'd probably bank them, but I mean, they're 1 coin each, so, like, might as well just drop them. It doesn't actually matter. So I don't actually need any cooking at the moment. So, wait, can you intentionally burn chickens? Oh, you can, like, double cook them? I didn't know that was a thing. That's weird. Okay. But, yeah, you can, this is a really good way to do cooking if we need it in the near future. So, yeah, that's very nice to have. You guys remember this? back when we made, like, actually it wasn't even that many balls of wool to get to 13 crafting or whatever. It wasn't that bad, but now I have to get to 20, and then I'll probably try world hopping for sapphires, but even 20 is going to take a while, dude. I don't know. Balls of wool are just so annoying. I actually just hate this, but we'll make it eventually. We'll make it eventually. Just so people know what I'm doing, I haven't really explained this yet. So last time when I was shearing sheep, I was shearing them and then going upstairs, spinning them and banking them right away. But I'm actually trying something a little bit different. Instead of spinning them per inventory, I've been just going over here, hop into the PvP world like I was for those U logs, and then putting them in the bank chest right here. I don't know if this is faster. It might not be, but I mean, we're just kind of stacking up wool. And I mean, we only need, I think, a little over 600 to get to 20, and then from 20 crafting, we can world hop for sapphires and cut those. So I think this shouldn't be, like, even if this isn't as efficient, it's still pretty chill, and it shouldn't be as bad. And doing all of the wool at once is going to be kind of nice, just because we'll get into a routine there rather than having to constantly vary everything up. I think generally segmenting stuff makes it a little bit more tolerable, just because you have a clear goal in mind. You're not just kind of doing stuff different every time, which can get a little bit much. But that's our current plan. I think someone did the math in my chat, actually. They said it was 106 sapphires to get from level 20 to 27, which actually sounds extremely doable. So that's really not bad at all, and they're pretty cheap. They're only like 25 gold each, I think, is what they are. So that's not bad at all. It's extremely doable. So that's currently our goal. So essentially, I'm not going to be getting any crafting experience for a while because I'm just shearing these guys. I wish this gave you like 1 experience per shear. That would be very nice, but unfortunately it doesn't. But I will just be getting a whole deluge of crafting levels in a bit as soon as I get the required wool for it. So I suppose I'll update you then. Hitting that big 2-5, roaring 20s coming in. We don't even know the Great Depression is going to happen yet, so everything's feeling pretty damn good. Got that defense while we're training on the sheep, because I've been misclicking a lot of rams. But you know what? We're going to need defense anyway, so it's pretty okay. It's not... I'm certainly not complaining. I don't mind. That's why I'm holding my Mithril Battle Axe right now, just for those misclicks. Getting the defense. You'll also notice that the progress bar hasn't actually moved up at all. That's because I'm banking all of the wool for... I said this in the last clip, didn't I? So I'm just wasting your time. Although, I mean, I did warn you at the start of episode 1 that this whole thing's going to be a waste of everyone's time, so, you know, don't blame me for it, okay? It's your own fault for being here. If you want to leave, you can leave anytime you like. Alright, this is a pretty important update coming at you hot off the RuneScape presses, because this is going to be some more Fashionscape coming at you fast. We're going to see what kind of stuff we got. So I don't actually know what lederhosen options are. I think we still need boots and hat and shirt. I mean, obviously we need, like, okay, so that's hat. That's like best in slot fashion for a little while, especially since we don't have any hat options. Looking pretty good. Back to the sheep grind. Pretty unimportant, but we're at 512 out of about 600 wool needed. Plus, look how satisfying this is. We got 100, got over, or not 100. We have over 1 mil in our bank. So we got that fancy M there. Look at that. That looks pretty nice. I like seeing that there. So that's pretty cool. So, yeah, I just wanted to say M was good stuff. This place that was once my home, hopefully we won't have to ever see it again, because we'll be unlocking more viable crafting training methods. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we have gotten all of the wool we need, so we can leave. And this might be the last time we ever shear sheep. I could be wrong on that one, because I'm usually wrong, honestly. When you think about all the times I've been right versus all the times I've been wrong, I'm usually wrong. But hopefully that's the end of that. I mean, it hasn't even been that long. I did this all in one day, so it's been like, I did that for about 4 hours, I think. So it's really not that bad. I wouldn't mind doing it more. Obviously, I don't want to, but it's not the worst thing of all time. So if we look right now, right here, we have 593 wool, which I believe, if I did the math correctly, and by I mean if the Twitch viewer did the math correctly, that should be enough to get us to 20, I keep saying smithing. I want to say smithing every time. That should get us enough to get to 20 crafting, and after that, we can go do sapphires. So I guess we're going to do a bunch of wool spinning content. That'll be fun. 18, 19. And this right here is 20 crafting. So that's the end of our wool spinning for right now, because we can cut sapphires. So I think what I'm going to be doing is going to the gem stall, hopping worlds, buying sapphires whenever I can find them. It's going to be difficult to find them because it's certainly botted and certainly being bought by other people because it's a pretty good way to make money. But I think it'll be better than doing wool because one sapphire to cut gives you a lot more experience than a whole, like it gives you more experience than one wool, and it's almost a full inventory of wool doing one sapphire. So that should be a whole lot faster. If it's not a whole lot faster, it's going to be at least a little bit faster, and having the sapphires in the future will be useful because those will be used for other things. So we're going to need sapphires eventually anyway, right? So might as well get them while we're doing this. I think it's about 100, maybe I think it was 106 sapphires I needed. So yeah, it's not that many. And if we only get like one every couple of minutes, it's still going to be better than wool, I think. So the only problem will be maybe the world hop limit, but beyond that, I think it'll be pretty okay. So this is the kind of game knowledge that makes you an expert in the world of old school RuneScape. So essentially, you can see from here to here, this was just randomly hopping worlds, right? So there were a lot of emeralds, but there were not that many sapphires. And I was thinking, well, maybe this isn't a good way to train it. But then, what happened here? How did I get 5 sapphires in a row? So I have learned that once every 8 minutes, worlds in a region will restock their shops. So essentially what I did, I was on a German world, and I waited until they restocked, and then immediately hopped to all the German worlds next to it, and got all of the sapphires before other people could snatch them up. So I now figured out the internal timer for the world. I have it logged in my brain space what time we need to be hopping. So this actually, assuming I just am there every 8 minutes, I should be able to get a bunch of emeralds. So, or not emeralds, I don't need emeralds, a bunch of sapphires. So I think we can have a pretty good time doing this right now. But yeah, I was getting frustrated here because I got so many emeralds, but yeah, pretty good. We got sapphires going. Should speed up now that I understand the game mechanics because I am a RuneScape expert. How are you looking? Ooh. Okay, this is definitely a possibility. Is this dopamine rush time? I think it is. You know it is, dude. This when you get them all in a row, it feels so good, especially when you're not getting timed out every 5 seconds. Look at this enthralling gameplay. Holy shit, he's so good at this game. He is so good at this game. I'm stealing all of America's sapphires, and you can't do anything about it. Damn it. Let's go. He's so good. God damn. Okay, that's probably enough for a clip. I've probably recorded for too long at this point, honestly. So we're probably good at this point. I think YouTube gets it, so I can probably just go back to streaming, but still, it's a pretty fun time. While I'm waiting for these worlds to restock, I just want to annoy anyone who maybe hasn't noticed this and maybe is going to do this in the future. This period here is really dumb. Shouldn't exist. Just wanted to let you guys know that. I'm going to come down to Cambridge, walk into your office, and it's going to be a sit-in. Like, I won't leave until this period's removed, okay? So this is the civil rights movement, but instead of for actual things that matter, like human decency and treating other people as if they're actually real human beings, not based off of their race, where it's just about periods. It's not really relevant at all. I don't really know why I'm saying that. But yeah, that's what's going to happen. So you better get rid of this period. So I've only gotten about half of the sapphires that I need. It's been pretty okay. It's taken a little while, but I think it's definitely faster than getting the balls of wool. But I want to take a little break in the middle of it and get some serotonin absorbed into your brain stream. That's not a thing that exists, but yeah. So first of all, of course, we have a couple of gems just from thieving ham, but I just never cut, so that'll reduce the amount of sapphires we need by a little bit at least. So that's pretty nice. But after that, we're gonna get some pure XP injected directly into our eyeballs, and it's gonna be a great time. So you ready for these XP drops? Because I mean, those were nice. That was 15, 20, and even 3 and 4 from the crushed gems is not bad at all. But you want to see something beautiful, something that this account very rarely sees. Watch these XP drops. Holy shit! Look at that. It's 50 XP. That's so good. Give me that delicious XP, daddy. It's so good. Oh my god. 21 crafting. Look at that. Jesus Christ, that's beautiful. And that was from like 7 sapphires right there. Wow. Let's get some more, dude. Let's get even more. It's a great time. Dude, this feels so good. I've been saving up these sapphires for so long. We're going to do some more. We're going to do all of them right now. Can we do it? Do we want to do it in one uninterrupted clip? Or do we want to, I don't know, but do we want to edit this down? Because honestly, this is such good content right here that it's like, I don't even know if I want to distill it. Because look, watch this. Are you ready for this? Because I don't think you're ready for this. This is just pure leveling up. It's just so distilled. Look, that was 3. We got 22. That's 2 levels in one clip. This is unprecedented. Can we get to 3 in one clip? I have never seen this before, dude. I don't think you have either. Has there ever been this many levels in one clip? Because this is like a whole new world. Honestly, this game mode, we don't need any more of the game mode. Let's just make this all about crafting. We don't need anything except crafting. This is now a crafting only chunk locked Ironman. We don't need anything else because this is so satisfying. Why would you want any other content at all? We're never going to stop. This is sapphires to 99. And you know what? It's going to be amazing. We got 3 levels so far. Do you think we can get 4? Do you think it's possible? I don't know if it's possible. It's never been done before. No one has ever tried this. This is actually illegal in 37 states. That's how rare this is. They don't. The feds don't want you to do this, but unfortunately, it was actually ruled unconstitutional to ban it. So there are a couple of states that are holding out. Look, that's 24 right there. Holy shit! That's so many levels, dude. No one knew this was even possible. We're getting so close. We're 65% of the way there. Oh my god! Now we just need some more sapphires, and I know just the guy. I'm going ahead and selling a couple of the sapphires, because you can actually make profit here by buying sapphires and selling them back, but I want to keep some of them at least, but I'm selling at least some of them in order to make my money back and be able to afford the rest of the sapphires, because I'm a little bit low on money since we had the bank rebuild happen. So yeah, we're selling a couple of them, and we'll keep going on the crafting dopamine gem cutting grind. After recording that last clip, I got into a bit of a scientific mood. Remember how a few clips ago I said that sapphires restock every 8 minutes? Well, this assertion was based on 0 evidence, and I quickly learned that it was incorrect. In order to figure out how long it takes for the store to restock, I did what any sane human being would do. I opened the shop window and left it open. For 4 hours. Well, 4 hours and 10 minutes to be exact. It turns out my original theory of 8 minutes was off by orders of magnitude. It actually restocks every 250 minutes. It got to the point where I was legitimately wondering if it had broken or if there was some bug in the shop code, but I kept up my resolve for the betterment of science. You're welcome for my service. So yeah, after all that, it ended up just being that I was impatient and, well, we figured it out eventually, and you know what that gave us? 83 more sapphires, which is, as far as I'm aware, that's more than enough to finish our crafting grind, so I guess we might as well do it. But yeah, that's a culmination of a lot of maybe unnecessary theorizing. Turns out it was a lot simpler than we thought it might be, but there we go, that's 25 crafting right there, which is a pretty fun milestone. I've spoken on that before, but we have still a few more to go. We do have enough sapphires for it, which is cool, so I guess we're just chilling here. I don't know, dude, how much commentary can I really give? I'm just cutting these gems, getting the XP drops. It's a lot of XP, to be fair. It's a whole lot better than spinning wool for certain, at least once you actually get the sapphires. Getting the actual sapphires proved a little bit, not frustrating necessarily, but it was more complicated than initially thought. But we're almost there, and actually, we should be able to get a couple more crafting levels beyond 27, just because, first of all, I got more sapphires than was necessary, just because they were in the shop, so I was like, why not get a few more? If this is only going to happen every 4 hours, it's probably worth getting them. And I did get some emeralds as well, just because we're going to need them in the future, and getting crafting is going to certainly be useful as time goes forward, so I mean, why not get a little bit of extra? But yeah, there it is. That's 27 crafting. That's really all that we have to do in that chunk right there. So yeah, we can cut emeralds. So I guess I'll finish up these last 6 here. I'll cut the emerald, and that should be our progress for the North Alcarid chunk good to go. So that's that, I suppose. I don't really know what else to say. I guess we can just go straight on to the next roll because why not? Nothing else to be doing. And I've just been sitting here in this bank for what, like 3 or 4 minutes now. Someone's probably bored. Someone probably clicked off the video, but I don't really care. No, I care a little bit. I want to make good content, but you know, I'll stop talking now and we'll get to rolling. So I just recorded the whole thing where I got the crafting levels and the audio was completely messed up. But I guess I could throw in a little bit here, just if you don't mind. If you're not a robophobe, you can listen to it, but it's not exactly pleasant. So yeah, look, I got a crafting level. And we can cut emeralds now, which is fun. So yeah, that's the crafting grind done. I guess now all we really gotta do is go on over and roll the next chunk. So that was a fun time. A bit of discovery, a bit of exploration, a bit of learning game mechanics. Yeah, overall, pretty alright chunk. Not too great, but not bad either. And we come back now to what I would consider a relatively familiar site at this point. We've been here a couple times. Actually, maybe we've only been here once before. I don't remember. Maybe twice. Yeah, whatever. However long it's been, it's time to get a new chunk. So if you recall, remember this is what we blacklisted. We had a whole section on that. At least we should have if I did my job right, talking about that. So there is one thing that you might be curious about. Again, this one right here. So with our rules, basically, we can't roll something unless we can actively access a walkable tile of it, which we can't at the moment because we have no way to train agility. So that's what's up with that one. But everything else is accessible. So we currently have 6 different chunks to choose from. This one's going to be the longest grind, almost certainly, but it will be doable. Now, the reason you might ask, well, you blacklisted this adamant. This one has adamant too. Why wouldn't you blacklist this one? What's the difference? The difference is that for this chunk right here, we would have had to get 70 smithing through just bronze bars. It would have been 115,000 bronze bar. It would have been 3 months of work, which is maybe to some that's not insane, but to me, that is a long time to me making bronze bars. But here, we have a good variety of ores. We have iron, we have mithril, we have gold, we have silver, we have plenty of stuff here that we can work with. So I think I would be very surprised if that was unbearable. I think I can absolutely do that. And it would take a while, yes, but I wouldn't mind it, I don't think. If anything, it would almost be relaxing in a way, because I mean, just doing inventories of gold or inventories of silver would be pretty easy actually, because remember, with bronze, it takes 2 ores to make 1 bar, and each bar is like, what, 6.5 XP, but with gold and silver, it only takes 1 ore to make the bar, and it gives significantly more XP than the bronze does. So really, I don't think that would be bad at all. I could probably do those to 70 smithing, or maybe those to 50 and then some mithril or some combination. The thing is, we have options, which is what's important, but there's only a 1 in 6 chance that we'll even get that, so I suppose we should just roll at this point. I think everyone's pretty familiar with most of this stuff. We've talked about these chunks ad nauseum. I don't know if that really makes sense saying ad nauseum there. Does it? Kinda, it does. This chunk is new. It has best in slot buyables, and maybe the guards drop some stuff, but apart from that, I mean, there's a new bank and a new furnace, which will make this one more bearable, because we can go here, smelt, bank, go here, smelt, bank. So ideally, I'd like to get this before I get this. That would be the best case scenario. And then this chunk doesn't do anything. I mean, if we want to, it brings us closer to Mage Training Arena, I suppose, which could be interesting, but so does this one, so I guess we should just go ahead and roll the dice then, huh? All right, that's interesting. So right off the bat, I see this churn here. That is a cooking requirement. We will have to do that. And we got our milk, so we can do Cook's Assistant. Apart from that, I'm not sure. So I guess let's explore. Let's check it out. I do want to note before I do that, look at this nice shape here. It's very satisfying. Of course, I mean, we do have this one black. Oh, stop. We do have this one blacklisted over here. So really, it's not as nice as it could be. But this is pretty satisfying. You know, I'm cool with it. So yeah, let's hop in game and see what's up. Welcome back to another episode of I'm Editing the Video and Explaining Things, this season's third hottest feel-good syndicated media segment. Remember back at the start of the video when I was explaining what environmental and processing tasks were? I said that I messed up with how I defined cooking and that I'd come back to it later. Well, now is later, so let's talk. The purpose of me creating the distinction between environmental tasks and processing tasks was twofold. First, I wanted to have a clear and objective definition on when skilling challenges should be initiated, and secondly, I wanted to distill skilling challenges down to their actual mechanics, separate from any in-game flavor or lore. Now, what do I mean by in-game flavor and lore? I'm talking about separating what is literally happening objectively in the game's code and the story and justification behind it. You might not think of RuneScape as a story-based experience, and in the conventional sense, it isn't. But when you mine a piece of copper, for example, what's really happening? Well, you click on a world object, you wait a few ticks, your account is granted experience, and an item appears in your inventory. This is what is literally and objectively happening. But what's happening story-wise? Well, the story is that your character swings a pickaxe at a copper-endowed rock, extracting valuable ore from it and remembering for next time how to do it even better. The purpose of my categories and definitions is to make this divide clear, because an important value of this game mode is objectivity and consistency. But what does this have to do with cooking? Well, this is where I made the mistake I mentioned earlier. All the rules I've been talking about throughout this episode are actually rules that I've only properly defined after recording most of the footage for the video. I've been operating mentally on these principles, but at the time of recording, they hadn't been eloquently and clearly defined. This worked fine for everything up until this point, but here's where the problem came in. I would argue that cooking is one of the most complex skills in old school RuneScape. Most of the time it's relatively simple. For example, if you have a raw salmon, you use it on a range or a fire, and then you have a chance to get cooked salmon and experience. Most of the time, this is all you need to think about for normal play. But in some cases, cooking gets more complicated. For example, in the starting chunk on the second floor of the general store, there's an onion. Well, what's so complicated about an onion? Take a look at this. This is a flowchart of all the things you can do with an onion. When I say cooking is complicated, this is what I mean. Oftentimes, ingredients will have many different routes through which they can be processed and combined with other ingredients, and the level requirements, XP gain, healing, and effects can differ drastically from product to product. With most skilling challenges, it's pretty clear what you're meant to do, but cooking has to be examined in much more detail. Let's travel back in time to the first chunk, but with all of the knowledge of the rules that we have now. If we have access to just the first chunk, does the onion within it initiate any skilling challenges? To help jog your memory a bit, here are the requirements for initiating a processing task from the intro to the video. Does our onion fulfill all of these requirements? Looking at our flowchart, I notice immediately that the onion itself has no way of granting XP. We can either eat it, chop it, or add it to a garden pie, but none of these directly give XP, nor do they have a level requirement attached to them. So does this mean we just don't have to worry about onions at all? Don't give up so quickly. Remember that the qualities of primary, secondary, and tertiary resources are transitive, so because we have primary onions, along with access to knives and bowls, chopped onions are also a primary resource. So let's see if chopped onions initiate a processing task. It's a primary resource in an unlocked chunk, so the first two are good. You might say, hold on, you chopped the onion, so it fails the third check, it's a result of processing. But, if you recall, when we defined processing tasks, part of the definition was that they grant XP, and chopping onions gives 0 XP, so onion chopping isn't actually processing. Remember, when I say processing, I'm not using an Oxford English Dictionary definition, I'm using a definition specific to the mechanics of RuneScape designed for this game mode. So, we've got the first three. Also, it can be processed by cooking it into a fried onion, which grants XP and requires 42 cooking. So, we've fulfilled all of the requirements for initiating a task. The first chunk, all on its own, initiates a cooking skilling challenge to cook fried onion, which requires 42 cooking. But there is one final thing. Just initiating a task doesn't mean it's required to complete. Remember that in order to be required to complete a task, you must have a primary training method for that skill, and in the first chunk, there isn't any primary way to train cooking. The closest we can get is by collecting raw chicken from imps, but since the drop is random chance, the chicken obtained is secondary, not primary, and thus does not trigger the requirement for the task to be completed. So with just the first chunk unlocked, making fried onion is not a required task. Moving forward in time, the next chunk we unlocked was the forest west of the castle. The main thing that draws your attention in this chunk is the vast pickpocketing table of the ham members, which includes chicken and anchovies, but once again, these are both secondary resources. So, does this chunk have any primary training methods for cooking? Well, remember how earlier in the video, after completing the grind to 30 smithing down south, I killed a giant rat and cooked its meat? Giant rats aren't exclusive to the swamp, there are giant rats directly behind Lumbridge Castle. These rats have a 100% chance of dropping raw rat meat, which means it's a primary resource, which means cooking this meat is a primary training method for cooking. So that's the first cooking mistake I made. As soon as I unlocked the second chunk, I was required to kill rats and cook their meat until I got to 42 cooking, and obviously that didn't happen. Unfortunately, I can't turn back time, but I promise that I'll do my best to rectify this oversight by the end of the video. The second mistake I made was in this new chunk that I unlocked, the chunk directly north of our starting chunk. This chunk has given our account access to many new primary resources related to cooking, including raw beef, raw chicken, potatoes, eggs, and buckets of milk. Along with all of these resources, we have also gained access to a dairy churn, which opens up some processing options for the milk we now have. So, with all of these new resources, what cooking task is initiated? Something to remember is that in a skill, only the highest tier task is explicitly required. Like in the first chunk there were oak, willow, and yew trees, but since yew trees have a higher woodcutting requirement than the previous two, the 60 woodcutting requirement of yews implicitly included oak and willow. So when we look at this new chunk, we need to figure out which of these ingredients takes the highest level of cooking in order to process, and that's our cooking goal for the chunk. Beef and chicken are easy, they can both be processed at level 1, baked potatoes are made at level 7, and scrambled eggs take 13 cooking. The lowest level at which milk can be processed is level 21, which is the highest requirement of all of the newly available resources, so what I should have done here is set that as my skilling challenge for this chunk. This is where the second mistake came in. Remember that at this point, the system had not yet been written out and defined. Because of this lack of analysis, instead of focusing on the objective mechanics of cooking, I latched on to the flavor and lore aspect of something being a complete food. I'll show the footage here and come back afterwards so you can get some context. On my way up to the chunk, I decided to do some raking. Turns out we were a lot closer than I realized, so that's 11 farming, which is neat, I suppose. Speaking of raking, we have our third patch here, so we can do even more raking. Expect more of that in the future, probably, because that's a fun time. Some notable stuff in this chunk. We got our chickens, we got our eggs, and like I said before, we have a dairy churn. That is a requirement, I believe. For the churn, we will have to get 21 cooking because we can get we have a primary source of milk in our chunk, right? So milk turns to cream, we use that. So essentially with potatoes, we do have access to potatoes. That is accurate. And we will need to use the potato somehow, but I think what we can do, we can just make stew if I remember. Where is stew even? Stews? Yeah, we can make 28, or we'll get to 25 just through, while we're, ooh, actually that might be a requirement. I'll see what potatoes can be turned into, but that might be a requirement, which is not that bad. 4 more levels, extremely doable, because we can cook chickens, we can kill chickens and cook them right here. We have a cooking pot. Or we can kill cows, cook them over here. I mean, I'll probably just do chickens most of the way, because that makes, or, never mind, what am I talking about? I would just do it in Alcred. Remember that method I showed earlier, where, he sells chickens? That's way faster than this, so I'll probably just do that. Anything else in this chunk? I think that's all the significant content that I can think of, so at least that I've found. If I find anything, of course, I'll update you guys, but mildly interesting. We have more of the sheep pasture unlocked if we needed to get more wool, but fortunately, I don't think we should ever have to get wool again, if I'm not mistaken. So that's not too bad. And we do have access to the dairy cows, so I'll go ahead, grab a bucket. Is there a bucket spawn here? No, I don't think there is. I'll go buy a bucket, bring it over here, and we will complete Cook's Assistant. So something I realized is that we have access, primary or secondary, to everything you need to make a cake, and that includes eggs. And as far as I'm aware, the only thing that eggs can be made into, I might be wrong on this, but the only things that are on the wiki at least are you have cakes, and takes an egg right there, and you have potatoes with egg, which, what are these, what would those even be under? Here it is, baked potato with egg and tomato. Ooh, that's a bar right there, baked potato with egg and tomato. But yeah, you have that. which is 51. So cake is easier to do than that. And there's no lower tier egg potato as far as I'm aware. So, oh, hold up. Wait, scrambled egg, can you eat that? Oh, well, so regardless of what's happening with cooking, we got to get this milk, and we got to do the quest. Yeah, there we go. Milk and quest. That right there, 300 cooking XP. 1 quest point. Second quest we've got done on our account, and 12 cooking. We can not do those because those are not anywhere near us, but you know, that's pretty neat. That's a bit more cooking that we won't have to grind out, fortunately. So, as I've just explained, our cooking goal for the chunk is going to be making a potato with butter. Because, while yes, under certain rule sets you could argue that just churning the milk into cream would be processing it, the rule that I'm going with is a complete process must be edible. So, we need to get to cream, then to butter, and then we need to get to potato with butter, because that's the only point that I have unlocked when you would be able to eat the milk after processing it. Our current grind for this chunk is going to be getting to 39 cooking. Now, because I've unlocked Al-Kharid, that shouldn't be a huge deal, I don't think. I'll probably just do cooking chicken all the way to 39. Because why not? I mean, we can buy 1,000 chickens because they're 1 coin each, right? So that's really not that bad. I suppose I'll just get started on that because why not? So in the footage, I said that in order for something to count as processing in terms of cooking, it needs to be edible, but this has 2 problems already. First of all, the concept of edibility is purely a flavor and lore distinction. It doesn't actually affect the mechanics of the cooking skill itself, so it was wrong of me to use that as a criterion for what counts as processing. Remember, these are the requirements for processing. Edibility has nothing to do with it. Secondly, cream actually is edible on its own, so even with this incorrect rule, I was wrong, so I doubled down on the wrongness. Unfortunately, being wrong within being wrong doesn't cancel out, it just makes me look even dumber and even more wrong. So, to summarize this whole thing, the skilling challenge for this chunk should have been 21 cooking in order to make cream, but if I had done things correctly from the start, that actually wouldn't have been required at all because I would have gotten 42 cooking in the second chunk we unlocked back in episode 1. So the moral of the story is that I need to be much more careful, rigorous, and proactive when it comes to defining and understanding how these skilling challenges work, and I need to make sure that I know everything that I'm meant to be doing and why I'm doing them with every chunk I unlock. Moving forward, I'll make sure that I'm more thorough and spend more time on getting these things right, and I apologize for messing things up here. For now, though, let's continue on with the video and with our erroneous journey to 39 cooking. Are you guys ready for some high-level metagame strategies? So, when you talk to this man, keep watching my inventory. We're at 1,008 gold, and we have 3 items. As soon as we talk to him for a little bit more, we lose 10 gold, he sells us a random piece of garbage. But the problem with that is we're going to be talking to this guy quite a bit for the duration of our cooking grind. But the thing is, if you drop your gold, talk to him, you can go through the dial. Oh, wait a second. Damn it, I thought I was smart. But you can't buy things from him without gold. Oh no, I'm actually an idiot. Never mind, this doesn't work. I thought I was clever. And so the chickening begins. Very quickly I've realized that we have a little bit of a problem, so we need 30,000 more experience. Each chicken gives 30 XP. Now it seems like we're not burning them. I mean, it's a very small sample size at 12, so we could be burning them, but it doesn't look like we are. But with 30,000, 30 per, we need 1,000 of them. They cost 1 gold each, so we just barely have enough coins, right? But the thing is, every time you talk to the merchant, he sells you something for 10 coins. Now, you can sell what he gives you. You can sell it right back to him, but you still lose some money. It's enough where I would say the average cost of a cooked chicken is going to be about 1.5 gold per, not the one that he actually sells it for. So I'm going to use up all this gold. We're going to see how far we get, but we almost certainly will need to do some more gold farming. I would say probably I'll just do some fletching and selling to the general store like we did to get our initial giant cash stack that we had to drop. Rest in peace. And also, you might notice this rake in my inventory. I'll just, every once in a while, I'll be raking the cactus patch over here just to get some passive farming XP, because I like farming. It's not a requirement, but it's fun, so I want to, and you can't tell me what to do. Turns out we totally can burn things. So I just got lucky before, but yeah, we got a couple of burnt chickens, unfortunately. This is gonna, I mean, this is still good. Like, this is still not unreasonable. Like, doing 1,000 chickens. Ooh, phrasing on that one. Cooking 1,000 raw chickens into cooked chickens is not that bad. Like, that's easily doable. If anything, that's kind of a respite from what we've been doing. Is that how it's pronounced? Respite? That's a weird word. Sorry, I've never really thought about that word. It looks like, shouldn't it be just respite? I feel like that makes way more sense than respite. Like, what is a respite? Sorry. Yeah, we got some more cooking, but yeah, we will be burning. And actually, I was thinking we're going to need 40 thieving anyway when we get to city guards. So I might as well, to get our gold, probably just pickpocket farmers, right? Because they give consistent GP drops. And it'll be developing a skill that we actually will need relatively soon. Because I don't think we need more fletching for a while. The only thing is, I believe there are magic trees near Mage Training Arena, which we're kind of close to, so hopefully we don't get that. But beyond that, fletching isn't going to be necessary for a decent while. I'm really glad this XP is fast, because we are burning a lot of these. Each of these levels has just been one inventory per, so it's really fine. But, and I mean, obviously, as we're leveling up more, we'll burn less and less. But that's like a lot of burn-nation happening. I totally wasn't recording this, but apparently he can randomly sell you anything in the shop. He randomly sold me a chicken, so I didn't even have to worry about selling him back junk that time. That's fun. Another level. Dude, this icon for raw chicken, it's just Kirby with longer legs, spread eagle, and he forgot to clip his toenails. Also, is Kirby canonically male or female or just genderless? I actually don't know. 19. For some reason, my brain is interpreting this as 2-0 and then a really small 0, like 2-0-0. So we actually have level 200 cooking, which is pretty cool. I guess we're top high scorers all time. 21. 22. 23. One cooking level for every hour in the day, unless you're on a different planet, or if you use a different definition of time. But those are very unlikely scenarios, and I'm not planning for outliers. Level 25, which is also 18.9% of the way there if you were interested in that. So there you go. 26. 27. 28. 29. While we're at this nice, clean level 30 screen, ooh, that rhymed. I just want to say, this is extremely easy. Like, this is basically no cost. Like, this is really cheap. I came here with 1,000 gold, and I've gotten from 13 to 30 cooking, and we still have a good amount of gold left over. And it's pretty damn quick, too. Like, I was getting, even when not really fully paying attention, like, I was doing it relatively efficiently, but not as efficiently as I could have. I was getting about 25,000 experience an hour. And honestly, I bet if you were doing it, like, tick perfect, you could probably hit 30k an hour. So this is actually a surprisingly viable method, just even if you're not area restricted, even if you just want to get some quick cooking levels. The only problem is you have to hop worlds a lot, and if there are too many people doing it, I bet you could run out of chicken pretty fast. So the only thing is the chicken supply is limited if there are more than one person doing it. But really, this isn't bad at all. I am very happy with this. I was worried that this cooking was going to be annoying, but this is extremely chill. I'm doing nothing and I'm getting so much experience. Like, it's like if you took the gems when I was cutting the gems and like seeing all those XP drops, it's just like that. But every time you cook, cooking is so fast, dude. Like, watch this. Just look at this. It's 30 every single one, and they're so easy to get. Like, I've never even seen this kind of experience before. It's so good. Just wanted to share that with everyone. That's all. Ocho más. Now we have half a stack of cooking levels. Alright, I'm basically out of money at this point. We only have 48 gold left, so I still got a little while of cooking left. We still need a little bit over halfway to go. At 17,000 experience, we need 33,000 experience. That's still a decent ways. So I'm going to go ahead and thieve some farmers for a good bit of gold. I don't know exactly how good of a source of gold it'll be, but we're gonna need farming, or what? We're gonna need thieving anyway, so might as well thieve to get some gold. Something that's nice about training here is we can just cook ourselves some chicken whenever we need to heal, so I don't have to worry about world hopping for cabbages anymore. This is the kind of progression that I really love to see in this game. Okay, hold up. This is important. I've never successfully completed a beekeeper event before. But the thing is, apparently they can give you flax, which is like really good to have, because how else are we gonna get a bowstring anytime soon? So like I definitely need to try it. Okay, so I just have to put it together, right? Like, surely that's not that difficult. Wait, what on earth is going on here? So that goes there. How do I make you look like the other ones? I'm so confused. Do I press this? What? See, I don't understand what's happening here. It's just okay. Now, ladies, like I can't click it. Just go down another one? See, like, what is that? Like, I don't understand. How do I select the next one? That doesn't make any sense. What was I doing wrong? That was extreme. Like, am I going to be outside the trunk now? Is this account ruined? No, I'm still in the same spot, but still. I don't get it, dude. I really don't get how you're supposed to do that event, because, like, I click everything and it just kills me. I don't understand. Just realized that I have not been capturing in-game audio for a little while, so the ambient noise that I complained about last clip, you couldn't hear at all, but now you will be able to if there's any more annoying ambient noises, so rest assured your immersion will no longer be broken. Wow, 31 thieving. Wow, 15 prayer. Got up to 32 thieving, which gave us a total of 1,775,000 gold. 1 year before the U.S. declared independence, so it's probably a pretty eventful year, I would imagine. A lot of rebellious fomentations going on. Is that a word? I think it is. Whether or not it's a word is irrelevant, though, because what I'm in here for is the chickens. I don't care about using a lexicon that has valid English language in it. What I want is that sweet chicken. Oh, we're halfway there. Like Frankie said, I did it my way. What's the deal with this cauldron icon? Do you ever use a cauldron in this game? I don't think you do. I can't think of anything that you cook in a cauldron. I mean, witch's potion, but that doesn't even give you cooking experience. That gives you magic. So why? Like, I get it. Like, it's like a cooking pot. But you don't use those in this game. It doesn't make any sense. Why would that be there? 35 cooking, 64.7% of the way to 39. Wow, 36. 2 more. One chunk more, just one more level till I play again. From cooking hundreds of chicken. This range that's here in Alcarid, these hours of cooking I just did one chunk more. I did not know until today that Ali Morrisane sold chicken. One chunk more, and this has been a decent way to gain XP without much clicking. One more level's all I need. Will I need this meat again? One more bit of chicken cooking. It's not dropping you. And my level, it has grown. And I swear this cooking's through. Here north of Alcarid Square. One more level till the end. Till I'm allowed to leave this map square. As my rank is climbing tall. Do I rake or chop this tree? But I know I'll soon be free. The time is now. The chunk is here. One chunk more. One more level of this cooking. While we're raking all these buds, we'll be masters of potatoes. We'll have paid the price in blood. Pray for some good luck. get a good chunk roll, gain a chunk that ends up being good for all. Here's a little tip, pray for RNG. If we end at KQ, then we're done, you'll see. Level 2, a new beginning. Raise our XP to the sky. We'll outcook the Burger King. We'll outcook the Burger King. There's a new chunk we'll be picking. There's a new chunk to be done once we make these chicken wings. The level's here tonight, it's true. One chunk more, I will finish this objective. I will start another one. I'm the cross of Colonel Sanders and the prodigal son. One more level of this game. One more level and we're done. We will finish this objective. The level isn't far away. The level will be gained today. The level will uncover what our mind in heaven has in store. One more level. One more chunk. One chunk more. He's done it. The absolute madman. He has done it. Who knew this day could come? We can make baked potatoes with butter. The greatest achievement of our time. The greatest chef of our time. Ramsay 2.0 is in his house. A final little souvenir before we leave Alcarid. We got 12 farming. That's pretty neat. Oak trees, here we come. Actually, tomatoes would be okay too. I'd be cool with that. I don't know, when is our next allotment patch even going to be? Not for like a little bit, right? Yeah, I think this is the closest one, which is still 3 chunks away. I don't think there's anything closer, so yeah, it's still a little bit away, but that's not too bad. To everyone watching the video right now, everything may seem normal, but actually there's been a pretty big jump in time. So I'm in-game, playing the game, right? But this is after I've edited the entire video up to this point, so I am aware of how much I messed up with cooking, and we are going to fix that. How are we going to fix that, you might ask? So I've decided to do basically what we did in the second video when we had to go back and do the fletching and fire making that we didn't do, right? So I'm going back in time. So these are all the chunks that we have unlocked right now. But I'm going back in time as if we only have these unlocked. So anything that is inaccessible outside of these I can't go to. And we need to get 42 cooking from here. Because remember, that's the fried onion requirement, 42 cooking. So within just these chunks, we need to do 42 cooking. Also, a note, we can't use the cook's range, which would be what I would normally do. I'd just get an inventory, go use the range. Can't use that because we didn't actually complete Cook's Assistant until we got this chunk for the milk. So we don't have access to that either. And all we're going to do, we're going to be killing rats, taking their meat, chopping down a tree, and blazing it up until we get to 42 cooking. So it's not that much further, but it's still going to take some time. And it's going to be much slower doing this rather than doing the chicken in Alcarid, obviously, because we actually have to take time to kill the rats. And I mean, they're not strong, but they're formidable enough. What will be nice is we'll be able to get our combat stats up, because right now we're kind of lacking in that department. And honestly, I've been waiting for there to be a time where we have a combat requirement. Like, I cannot wait until we get up to Varrock and have to kill like Obor and Bryafata, because that's going to be really chill. And we're going to get like these up really high. So this is a little taste of what our PVM experience is going to be like. I suppose I should just go ahead and start. Health. Just finished getting our first inventory of meat. I don't actually know how much experience this gives when you're cooking it, but I do know that this took a whole lot longer than just buying an inventory of chicken from Ali Morrisane, so hopefully it's decent. Let's see what we're looking at here. All right, so it's the same amount of XP as chicken. So this is definitely gonna be way slower because, like, if you look at it, we have 11,000 XP to go with this, but I mean, it's at least manageable. Like, it's how much is that? So if that's going to be about 300 of these, so that means actually that's only like 10 more inventories, right? And probably more like 12 because 28, well, actually no, it's like 26, so it's probably more like 14 inventories or so, which it took a little while, but that's not going to be more than like maybe an hour or two. Actually, probably a little bit more than that, but you know, it's estimates, it's numbers, it's real life. We're out here living, cooking meat, killing rats. Yo, these guys can drop beginner clue scrolls? I didn't know that. What the heck? Let's see, is that something that we can do? No, it is not. So I'm going to drop that because we'll almost certainly get another one by the end of this grind. So hopefully we can get a clue scroll that we can do. So that's something to look forward to. Strength, prayer. We got our first cooking level since we started. It's been probably about half an hour, maybe a little bit more than that. We're getting a little under 6,000 XP per hour. So it's definitely not fast. Remember, we're getting like 25,000 XP per hour from the Ali Morrisane method, so it's definitely a decent bit slower, but of course we are getting our combat XP as well, including prayer. I'm getting bones and burying them, and if you see this, that's a fruit random, I guess. It's completely inconsequential, but that's what that is, if anyone was wondering. And one more thing, this fence here is annoying. Like, you see that? The fence is diagonally straight, and then it goes down, and then right, and then it goes diagonal again. And that's just, why would you ever build it like that? Like, that doesn't make any sense. So yeah, we've got, according to our goal, we have 7,800 XP more to go, 30% of the way there. So it'll be an hour and a half-ish more. Strength, prayer. Got another clue scroll from these rat boys, and this is at a spot that I don't think is even remotely close, is it? Isn't that all the way over by Falador? Yeah, it's over here, so we're not going to be able to do that anytime soon. So that is getting dropped. Health, strength, 2 out of 3 cooking levels. That's 0.66. Repeating, of course. Only one more to go. Wow. Prayer, strength. That, my good sir, is an axe. Thank you for the kebab. Yum. Prayer. The level has been achieved. We can, I guess all we got to do now is actually get the ingredients and cook the onion. And by ingredients, I mean ingredient plus, I guess. Do you count bowl and knife as ingredient? I don't know if that really counts, but I mean, we can go do that right now. We got bowl and knife on the counter right there. So that's pretty simple to get. Grab the knife, grab the bowl, and now we got to go up and grab ourselves the onion. I was about to say, you know, there's like the word epitome. I was about to say the like epitomal or like epitomal onion. That's definitely not a word, but I want it to be one because this is the epitome of all of our cooking progress. So first things first, I'm the realist. We chop this up. That's not what you do. What do you do? Okay, that's what you do. You put it on the bowl. So now we have our chopped onion. We could eat it, but that would be a little gross, to be honest. You don't want to eat just straight up chopped onion. We got to go cook it. Oh, also one little thing. It's not that important. I'll just do it right afterwards. But there actually is a task in the Lumbridge Easy Diaries to bake some bread on the Lumbridge kitchen range, which we can do now because we did Cook's Assistant. Also, I need to disable cooked meat from being shown here. That's really obnoxious. Please get that out of there. All right, so we're going to go ahead, cook our onions. I hope it doesn't burn because I didn't get to. Oh my God. I went back and got another one, put it in the bowl here. Let's hope it actually works this time. Oh my fucking God. I sure hope it works this time because otherwise I'm going to be even more fuck my whole goddamn life. This is not a joke, dude. I mean, it's not I'm recording this whole time. I'm not, like, obviously if I really wanted to, I could fake it and be like, I could only record a bunch of burnt ones. Actually, no, I couldn't because I've been showing this XP up here the whole time. If it didn't burn, it would show there. Like, obviously the logical thing to do would just be to go and get like 5 onions by world hopping, but that would make sense, and I don't want to do that. Okay, I'm just going to do it one at a time because it also makes it dramatic and rage-inducing, and if you want to get the clicks, you got to clickbait with some anger, right? That's the strategy. So we're going to get one at a time. We're going to keep doing it. This is number 4. Mambo, number 4. A little bit of onion in my bowl. Gonna burn it on the range. The moment of truth. Okay, actually, I'm mad. Like, statistically, this seems highly improbable, right? Like, you would think one of them by now would have worked. Does anyone know the odds of burning onion frying? Because it just seems highly improbable. What are the odds that this one will burn? That would be pretty funny. Oh, it actually got it. Let's go. We have successfully created fried onions. First time ever. You ready? You ready to see the fruits of our labor? Feel those onions. The warm, caramelized plant membrane running over your tongue, slithering deeper. I hate that. I'm gonna stop saying that right now. Do I have any flour? Because if I don't... Wait a second. No, I don't have any flour up here. Oh no, if I don't have flour, I'm gonna have to kill imps until I get flour so that I can make the bread. I'm not even done yet. I better have flour, dude. Because if I don't, that's gonna be annoying. Also gotta edit that out. Who really cares though? Goddamn, I don't have flour. Alright, I guess we're gonna be killing some imps for a little while. Yay! Side effect of having to kill imps is we can regain our bead collection, because we're gonna have to have that eventually, right? We had like 5 of each of them before, but we had to drop all of them obviously, so that's gonna be annoying. But this is an excuse to rebuild that collection and keep it going. Literally the 3rd kill directly after the bead, so that's pretty good. Not too shabby if I do say so myself. So we can go ahead, grab some water, combine these two together, make some bread dough, bring it over to the range. If this burns, it doesn't count, does it? Ooh, this better not burn. Please don't. That would be a good meme though. Okay, good. You have now completed an easy task in the lumberjacks area. So, obviously I'll double check because I've been pretty bad when it comes to being consistent and fully thorough in this kind of stuff. But as far as I'm aware, we have completed everything within our unlocked area. One more thing before we end the video. You know what time it is. It's chunk unlock time. I'm not going to waste too much of your time. That's a lie. I'm going to waste all of your time, because that's all this is, and that's literally all I do. If you're watching right now, it's been like 2 hours and 20 minutes, and if you're gonna get mad about me wasting your time, that's your own damn fault, okay? So let's go through these. Number 1, we get a tiny little part of rock. We get access to wheat. I don't know what else is up there. Really, it's just wheat, so that would probably be like... Also, there are guards there. I don't know if guards have any good drops, but that would probably be immediately rolling again pretty much, because I don't think there's a whole lot in there that needs to matter. Right here, we got more cows. We got a mill and wheat. I think that's just potatoes or something there. I don't know what's up with that. That's like a farmer and like a haystack that you can search for needles, because why not? Doesn't really matter. Right here, this is consequential because we get access to a little dungeon that has an anvil in it, which would be pretty dope because that will very much alleviate smithing grinds in the future. And we get access to the little drainer market, which is really nice because we get a bank, we get some stalls, we get some interesting little stuff, we get fishing, we get willows, which we don't need because we got these willows and we're already past that point. But you know, those are things that exist. It also gets us closer to the Wizard's Tower, which would be fun. Number 4, we can buy stuff. We get a new bank. We get a furnace. Once we get to 20 agility, we'll have this agility course. I don't know. We got scimitars, so we can just buy scimitars. We got leggings that we can buy. This would be really nice for equipment and stuff, so that would be pretty dope. I don't know what's going on in the palace, but I'm sure something's happening there. This is nothing. This is just gets us closer to other stuff, namely the mage training arena. 6 right here. This would be the longest grind, definitely, out of all of these. It would be pretty scary. I've talked on this before. We would have to get 70 smithing it would be doable, I believe, just because we got variety and we can do like gold and silver and stuff rather than just doing bronze. So it wouldn't be too bad, but I would really like to unlock this before I unlock this. That would make it way easier, and hopefully also this. So if I can unlock this or this, or not this, I don't want this. If I can unlock this or this, that would be really, really nice. I mean, anything is good. So it's 1 in 6. It's your regular dice roll. Let's just go, because I've been talking. So let's just choose. All right. That's interesting. If you can't tell, it's this one. It still has a number on it. Get the number out of there. So let's show you what are currently unlocked. Dude, I love the upside down cross. That's pretty dope. We are actually Satan incarnate. So I don't know. I don't think this has anything, but you know what? I'm not going to check during this video because we need a cliffhanger. Who knows? Maybe we'll have to get 99 magic to face down the dark mages. I know we definitely don't. That's a joke. But that's going to be something that if you want to find out, either so hit that subscribe button, smash that subscribe button, ding-a-ling on that little bell, ding, 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 or you could come watch the stream. This is my sellout little moment, okay? Look, if you've been watching for 2.5 hours and you're not subscribed, what the heck are you doing, you maniac? I actually looked at my analytics and it's like 90% not subscribed. So get in there, guys. Come on. Let's pump those numbers up. Or I guess down. You'd want to pump that down because I said it was 90% unsubscribed. We want to make that go down. You know what? Everyone unsubscribe right now. Get that number up. I want to see it 100% unsubscribed views. If I don't see 100% unsubscribed, then I'm not happy. So that's a challenge for all you guys. Everyone unsubscribe. If I have a single subscriber left at the end of this, I'm going to be mad. So yeah, if you want to figure out what happens, check it out next video, watch the stream, or theorycraft for yourself. You know where you can theorycraft. In our Discord channel, we have a channel specifically for theory crafting. So you can do that too. I'm going to stop now. This is getting weird. And I'm probably boring people too. So yeah, let's get to the end of the video. I just want to take a minute here and give my sincerest thanks to all of you, both for the incredible support I've gotten in the first 2 episodes and also for your patience. I know it's been a long time since the last episode. That's not something I'm going to be specifically talking about now. I'm sure I'll talk about it in more detail on stream. I just want to say that I really appreciate the insane opportunity that all of you have given me here. It still blows me away that people legitimately like this. And also, I read every comment as they come in. Like, I have notifications on my phone, so out of the, 4,000 comments on the first 2 videos, I've definitely read over 3,800. Of course, some of them I missed, but the level of engagement and positivity has completely blown me away, and obviously this wouldn't be at all possible without all of you. Assuming people haven't all forgotten about me in the time I've been gone, I'm actually going to try my best to establish a consistent streaming schedule and do this full time. So if you're ever feeling like you need a little chunking in your life, feel free to drop by on Twitch. And actually, I have a Twitter that I'm learning how to use, I guess. So check that out. But yeah, just again, I'm incredibly grateful for all of this. I love each and every one of you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you continue to enjoy whatever I create in the future.
We'll be masters of the tables. We'll have paid the price in blood. Quicker RNG if we end up keeping them sun we'll see. Levels will emerge beginning. There's a new trunk will be picking. There's a new trunk to be done once we make these chicken wings. The levels here tonight, it's true. Let's show I will finish this objective. I will start another one. I will cross a kernel saplings and the prodigy will sow. One more level of this game. One more level we will do. We will finish this objective. Level will begin today. Level will come.